Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the long-awaited semi and grand finals of Clash of Comrades July Joust. My name is Captain Fog, and I'm joined, as always, by Hunter. Hunter, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me back again.
Yeah, no problem. We're going to jump into the finals bracket to show you a recap of yesterday and show you how the field stands as it is. It's been a long road, about a month in the making, but we're down to the semifinals right now between AV Ultima and Classic Metal first, and then into Dead Bones versus Zeno, a coup. What did we see? What was your favorite part of yesterday, Hunter? What did we see that was surprising?
Lots of things. It was surprising, honestly. It was really a good day. Lots of great quarterfinal matches. We saw Classic Metal going 3-0 against Licante with his Squirrel Falcon early game pressure build. We saw Vlently performing amazingly well against Dead Bones, almost taking that series. That one could have gone either way. And yeah, just generally great games every single time. Not a single one of those could be boring in any way. They were great.
It's going to be hard to top it today, but I'm sure we're going to see some excellent matches. AV Ultima versus Classic Metal up first. Again, Classic Metal with that upset against Licante. A new player, Classic Metal, has never competed in Clash of Comrades before and joined the community fairly recently. AV Ultima has been around for a little bit longer, played in the last tournament. So I think that should be an excellent match. But of course, Dead Bones versus Zeno Coup in the semifinals. What do you think is going to happen there?
I don't know. Obviously Zeno won last time in the Clash of Comrades Mayhem. He won the entire series from finals versus Dead Bones, but I couldn't call who will win it this time. Obviously, Dead Bones has had a trickier start in the quarterfinals, going 3-2 to Vlently, whereas Zeno went like 3-0. But I don't think that can be used to judge who will win this one. It could go either way, and I think a lot of people are really excited to see that match again.
Right. So just as a recap for what we have for you guys today, we're going to do both semifinals matches and then take a quick break. After that, we'll do the bronze match between the losers of the semifinals and then go into the grand finals, which is a best of 7. Hunter, are you ready to jump into this first semifinals match between AV Ultima and Classic Metal?
I am so ready. Bring it on.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the match right now then. Here we go. The colors are AV Ultima in green and Classic Metal in purple. Once again, just like yesterday, if you'd like to vote in the Twitch chat to tell us who you think would win, you could type exclamation point and then the color that the player is playing. So in this case, exclamation point green or exclamation point purple.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really interesting game. So we saw Classic Metal going with his Squirrel Falcon build yesterday, and he's been doing it in the group stages as well. It's been really powerful, especially against less experienced players, but we also saw it work spectacularly well against Licante yesterday, going 3-0. So I don't know what to expect. I trust that AV has some way of dealing with this, but we'll have to wait and see what he does.
Alright, Classic Metal taking those squirrels like he loves to do.
Okay, and here we go. Classic Metal versus AV Ultima. Game 1 of the Clash of Comrades July Joust semifinals. We have Classic Metal to the north in purple, AV Ultima to the south in green. What are your first impressions on this map then, Captain?
I'm seeing that both players are on hills. Just kind of looking at it, looks like AV Ultima has only one exit from his base, so possibly containable if Classic Metal decides to take that base just to the north of AV Ultima's base. Classic Metal has great expansions. Both players have fairly good expansions, but I think that road in the middle is going to give an advantage to Classic Metal with his large masses of squirrels.
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting map actually. AV definitely needs to bust out of that position, get that first expansion that's quite close to him, so he doesn't get trapped. Classic Metal immediately goes, so we got 7 farm Squirrel Warren. AV's gone for a 7 farm Toad Warren. That's interesting.
Now, what do you
So
think
he's going Toads first.
what do you think is going to happen with these toads? Because of course, toads have an AOE and are going to do pretty well against those squirrels from Classic Metal. Is it going to be enough though?
I'm not convinced that it will be. because obviously those squirrels do a lot of damage. He's going out to 6 as well. Unless he has some sort of shield, which he is getting now, he's getting squirrels, so that'll help a little bit, I think. I'm not convinced that toads are incredibly effective right now, but obviously AV, much more experienced player than I'm excited to see what he does with them. We haven't seen that much of toads, and if we have, they haven't been all too effective. It's definitely a good composition for them to go up against those squirrels. Go 9 squirrels, it's a lot of squirrels there.
Alright, well, both players on their full 8 farms. No aggression yet. We'll see if they decide to build up and then charge in. Or whether AV Ultima is going to try and use those toads while there isn't a giant ball of squirrels on the field.
Maybe that's his plan. Maybe his plan is to counter the ball of squirrels with his toads.
Yeah, we'll see.
He's already got 6 toads.
Those falcons coming out right now for Classic Metal. That's a little bit different from yesterday. 2 Falcon Warrens, in fact, instead of going for a large mass of squirrels right away. AV Ultima with 6 toads, buying that expansion in the front, and 9 squirrels of zone.
Okay, so it's almost like those toads versus those falcons right now, and those falcons are going to be very effective against AV Ultima's army right now, I think. Unless AV builds a lot more squirrels, I think he could be in some serious trouble.
AV is
of course,
going
it takes
up to
quite
12.
a while for those falcons to come out. Yeah.
AV is up to 12 squirrels, yeah. And but that first falcon has come out. Of course, toads are unable to explode into the air, only being able to affect those squirrels for Classic Metal on the ground. Have to see though, both players content to building up their armies. Classic Metal's seen this expansion from AV Ultima now. Classic Metal has an expansion of zone, but AV Ultima's already on 10 farms. Classic Metal's 8.
Classic Metal's bringing his falcons over. Maybe just trying to go for some poke on those toads while AV wasn't paying attention, but he definitely was paying attention. He was ready for that, and he's just ecoing up right now. He's going for 4 more farms, and he's going for snakes as well in the background. Snakes are very good against falcons. That's a good enough pick. Obviously, Classic Metal has some pigeons. He has 3 pigeons to deal with those snakes. That's a fine decision. I think if there was a fight right now, I'd be worried if I was AV. Classic Metal has a lot more army value, and AV doesn't have that much anti-air. He has a lot of squirrels, but maybe not enough against Mass Squirrel and a couple of falcons. It could be a problem.
Yeah, AV Ultima has been ahead in economy for a fair amount of time, about a minute during this game, and that could make all the difference. We'll see though. So I think a lot of that lack of army value is made up with all the farms that he's built. He's sunk it into his economy.
Yeah, he does have a lot of economy right now. He's going to start pulling ahead in time. Classic Metal has just dumped a bunch of food into his economy also, so he's going straight up to 16 farms as well. Obviously, he hasn't been farming the entire time like AV has. AV, with those snakes coming out, is getting a little lead in army value. Classic Metal hasn't really been working that much on his army, really. He's been saving up a lot of food, spent a lot of it on those farms. And now he's building a few defenses, and now, okay, he's put a load of food into those falcons. 10 falcons on the way.
AV Ultima with an owl, though, is going to come out fairly soon. That Warren isn't quite finished building yet. Just hit that 5-minute mark, so the original 4 farms at all bases have or the main bases have farmed out. They're no longer producing food. AV Ultima with pigeons out, too. 12 squirrels, 6 toads, 4 snakes, and that 2 owls are going to come out, actually, and going ahead and buying that other expansion.
Wow. I think this is a good play. These owls are going to be great versus Metal's army, or at least for taking down those snakes and those squirrels. But Classic Metal, while AV is dead, he's bringing his army right now. Here we go, here's a fight. Not a single one of those toads managed to go off. They all get taken out, every single one of them. This is a disaster for AV. AV has lost almost all of his army at this point, and his snakes are getting bursted down.
A few hawks were poisoned, but the falcons are still alive. Looks like 2 are left. 3 are going to be left now. But there's a lot of food that's going to be gone to waste. A lot of farms went down. If he can take out this expansion, and he does. That owl came out just a little bit too late, so now AV Ultima is on 2 farms to Classic Metal's 10. And he's going to pull
That's an insane blow.
He's going to pull that owl back. It's on 3 health. That pigeon's going to heal it up a little bit. So they get maybe some more long-term value from it instead of exploding it like we saw yesterday with the Lantern. 2 owls out now.
He has got 2 owls now.
Again, he's
wow, that really went sour for AV there. Losing his commander really destroyed him there.
There goes that owl popping and bursting 6 mice onto the field. That's going to help a lot with the squirrels on the ground, but do nothing for the falcons in the air. Last owl still remaining. Can AV Ultima come back from this? Again, Classic Metal's on 8 farms still, and AV Ultima's on 0. Build what now? He's going to have to sell something, though, if he wants to build that farm.
He's going to sell the owl. No, he's selling... what, snakes, was it?
Yeah, he sold...
he sells toads and squirrels, okay.
Go, engagement again. Classic Metal's army is back up. AV Ultima still has the same number of units he had before. Down goes that owl.
He just didn't have enough value.
Yeah, six mice pop out. Again, that's going to help with some other things on the ground. But again, those squirrels and falcons just a little bit too much. AV Ultima has no army left, and that's it.
Wow.
Classic Metal taking game 1.
He saw that. He knew when to attack. He took out the commander. A lot of the time, taking out the commander isn't that big of a deal because it just takes like 6 seconds for them to respawn. They can respawn at any of the bases. But Classic Metal immediately moved in. He was right there. Took out all of those toads, so all the toads were out before this fight even started. And then just AV Ultima's army just got wiped out completely.
I think the big turning point there was having none of those toads connect. There was 6 toads that got bursted down by those falcons. And I think if those toads had gone off, that fight might have gone different. But that was the beginning of the end for AV Ultima. Just not quite enough, even with those snakes, to get through it. Classic Metal taking, we'll see if he takes Fox for his last pick. That'll be the exact same build he took last time. Maybe reconsidering a little bit.
He doesn't seem all too concerned with tier 3s. He seems to like focusing on that squirrel falcon play. He did pick up snakes, I think, in that game, quite later on, but he really likes the squirrel falcon combo. And it's going to be interesting to see what AV goes with here.
Yeah, AV...
I think he's maybe rethinking his strategy here.
AV hesitating a little bit, maybe trying to figure out how he can change strategy and deal with this seemingly dominant strategy from Classic Metal. I mean, he could go all the way with this.
I think it's just a lot of players seem to think that maybe, oh, it's just a noobish build. You know, I can just deal with it. I've got loads of experience. I know how to deal with squirrel builds. But it's just not that simple, really. He's playing it really effectively, and you have to be so careful against that kind of build because that will just completely burst you down. Those squirrels have massive damage, and those falcons, great burst, and the falcons are really awful to deal with. Like, you can pick skunks, but then that's absolutely useless against the falcons. Absolutely useless.
I'm surprised again that AV Ultima hasn't taken those skunks. I think that's really what he needs right now. We've seen, you know, how effective skunks can be against squirrels.
But the problem is that once that happens, Classic Metal just goes up to like 10 falcons. True. It's ridiculous. Okay, so going into game 2, we got Classic Metal to the west side of the map in purple, AV Ultima to the south in green. They're very close by. And there's a road as well. Yeah,
those roads going right to those bases. Potential, well, no, not potential contain. There's too many ways to get out of this base for anybody to contain either one. But that base on the hill there is going to be very, very important staging area for both players to defend, either with structures or with units of their own. And expansions dotted all around the map. We'll see who's able to get out and claim them. I'm going to toggle that dual commander visibility right now so you can see what the commanders are seeing.
It's interesting. I think this one might end fairly quickly, potentially. But just because of the sheer short distance between those two expansions, units recruiting are going to come back really fast. And I think this is the sort of situation where Classic Metal actually really does shine. He really likes those tier 1s, and those tier 1s reinforce so quickly. And with short-range fight like this, that really matters.
Classic Metal on 6 farms into 2 Squirrel Warrens. AV Ultima on 5 or 6 farms himself with Lizards, and that's going to help in that early game. And we can't forget that a few patches ago, AV Ultima was famed for his early game play. You know, he had that mean 5 or 6 farm Warren that he loved to play could, keep reinforcing his army. We'll see if that comes into play here. The patches are a little bit different. Twitch chat doesn't even know who to vote for. It's completely split 50-50 over who's going to win this Game 2 of the semifinals of July Joust.
Classic Metal certainly proved that he's no newbie. He can't be messed with. He is a dominant force here. And he's going straight up to 12 squirrels. He really likes doing this. He really loves those squirrels.
Yes, here they come. So he's claimed that high ground there, at least for the moment. One lizard taking one shot before fleeing away. Those lizards, of course, have that high ground advantage now. Just to show you what that means, here's what AV Ultima is seeing. You can see as soon as he steps off that high ground, he can no longer see up there. So the lizards are going to be at a disadvantage, as they are not ranged.
I think both players are just going to focus on army right now. Neither of them can afford to try and get an expansion, because then that puts them quite far behind the opponent in Tier 1 power. Classic Metal up to 18 squirrels soon. AV Ultima going to go up to 12, and then 6 lizards. So they're going to even out. AV Ultima has got a turret down. He did just sell it in favour of more squirrels, but that might be a little bit too late. Classic Metal's already got quite a few squirrels.
It's going to go up to 21 squirrels to AV Ultima's 15 plus 6 lizards. I don't know if those lizards, or how those lizards are going to do. They might just get bursted down before the squirrels in the back can do any kind of help. Again, you can see how much damage AV Ultima took. That was 20 damage in one shot, 30 damage in one shot, in one volley of squirrels.
Classic Metal's going to go in now. Now that AV's dead, he just took out quite a few lizards there in that fight. And if he can take down even a single Warren, that's a massive blow, because that severely cripples reinforcement power. But Classic Metal kind of gets caught out there. With those squirrels, he just gets surrounded. He overextended.
He's overextended. He's got 4 squirrels out on the field. AV Ultima has 8 with 2 lizards coming on the way. AV Ultima has to do something right now to try and push back at Classic Metal. There goes 1 Warren down. He's got to do a little bit more, though.
It's really tough to actually win once you're on the offensive, because all those Warrens tank that damage, and it really splits up your damage, and the enemy squirrels can really dominate. And look, Classic Metal's actually got an expansion now. So he's working an expansion alongside this. AV Ultima also has an expansion, but it's nowhere near as easy to get to. He's got off to the side.
Burrow in every time he wants to build something up there. Classic Metal going up to 9 farms. We're at 4 minutes and 20 seconds right now, which means in about 40 seconds, those first 4 farms at each base that's a main are going to be farmed out after 5 minutes, of course.
Classic Metal spots that base, but that gives AV Ultima a chance to come in and attack Classic Metal. He knew. Oh, okay, this is an interesting fight. Here we go.
All right, squirrels going down. That's a lot of squirrels for Classic Metal. 9 squirrels left, 2 squirrels. I think Classic Metal is going to come out barely on top here. Oh, maybe not.
Oh, AV Ultima came out on top.
1 squirrel left for AV Ultimate. Neither player has enough force to do anything with that. Classic Metal is going to go back and throw another farm down on that base. We'll see. I think AV Ultima should have left Classic Metal to go attack that northern base. That would have left Classic Metal's entire economy open. I think he jumped out a little bit too early. He's going to go in now.
I don't think Classic Metal's never going to go for that. Oh, no, but Classic Metal's going for it right now, and AV Ultimate's going to bring his army behind him. Classic's going to get destroyed here. His entire army's going to go down.
Alright, those farms are gone. Looks like his units got a few hits out on Classic Metal before they were able to get a shot in. So Classic Metal actually on 3 squirrels right now. 4 to AV Ultima's 9. Down 1 squirrel Warren down. Is this going to be enough? Classic Metal on 6 farms, AV Ultima on 4. Has this given AV Ultima enough of an advantage to push Classic Metal back?
I don't know. I mean, taking out those Warrens is a big deal, but on the flip side, AV Ultima lost 2 of those farms that he was working on. That is also a big deal. I couldn't possibly call it here.
Alright, 5 farms to 3 right now. Look at the army value graph. AV Ultimate does have the advantage right now. We'll see if he decides to use that advantage, whether he scouts his opponent's army. He's going to go ahead and build another farm up in that northern base. If he can hold off, he might be able to out-eco Classic Metal. But again, 4 farms to 2 right now.
So there's enough fight in the midfield.
Here we go. Main base, nobody's
AV
playing
Ultima
that
wins it.
Classic Metal losing all of his army. AV Ultima going to start to work on those Warrens there. And I don't think Classic Metal has enough food to reinforce his army. Still 6 squirrels alive. Warren after Warren going down, and it looks like Classic Metal is going to lose the game 2 of this semifinals. The last warren going down. Classic Metal trying to build a sniper balloon. I think it's going to come out in time, though.
Easily.
There it goes.
That was a really interesting game, actually. Seeing that neither player could really ever build their recon too much, because they just couldn't take time to step away from the short-range Tier 1 fight. Like, no Tier 2s were built, barely any farms on the expansions, and we saw that AV Ultima taking down those enemy warrens was actually a bigger deal than Classic Metal crippling his economy.
Alright, it's actually being pointed out right now that the game isn't quite over yet. Both players on very, very few farms. Oh, okay, well, AV Ultima on 5 squirrels right now, so he just had to wait for his force to build up a little bit before he could finish these off. But those pigs, even though they only do a little bit of damage, enough to ward off the couple squirrels that were going there. So here we go,
Yeah,
AV
I think
Ultima
at this point, it's pretty much over.
coming in for the killing blow, destroying that last rebuild warren, and there we go. Taking game 2. It's semifinals. Best of 5. That
was a really
graph
interesting
there,
game.
just up and down and up and down.
So many fights.
And
AV
no,
definitely pulled through with that distraction on that expansion, and then just clearing up Classic Metal's army. That was a big blow.
yeah, no tier 2s, I don't think either that we saw.
Nope, not a
in
single
that
one.
match. AV Ultima going for skunks as the very first pick, saying, you know, I definitely need skunks to deal with that many squirrels. I personally think that's going to be the best option for him. Gets those skunks out as soon as he can. He's going to be able to deal with that giant squirrel ball. And just have enough squirrels in the back to deal with the hawks, or with the falcons. Again, that poll has been reset, so tell us who you think will win Game 3 of this Clash of Comrades July Joust semifinal between AV Ultima and Classic Metal. AV going for that wolf. We'll see how that plays in. Of course, the wolf gives all of your units +5 attack for 5 seconds before a 10-second cooldown. Classic Metal going for boar, and also for ferrets this time, as well as moles.
Okay, that's interesting. So, Game 3 of the semifinals, Classic Metal vs AV Ultima. AV Ultima to the northeast in green, Classic Metal to the southwest in purple, and Classic Metal for the first time is actually changing up his build. But this is his first loss in the playoffs here.
True, might be a little bit shaken from that last one. His tried and true strategy, just barely not quite getting through. We'll see. Looking at this map, Classic Metal has a great base to defend. Actually, Classic Metal has a great set of bases to defend. The entire west part of the map is definitely to his advantage. Again, all that high ground and all those bases very close. AV Ultima's got one expansion, maybe, in the east. It's hard to get to. How he responds to that. Gonna throw on
That's a really interesting expansion there.
Yeah, we're gonna throw up the dual commander visibility. Neither player has scouted that expansion yet, but I'm sure they will fairly soon. AV Ultima going for 7-farm Warren, 7-farm Squirrel
Look at that
Warren.
timing. Both players get their Warren out at the exact same moment. That's really funny to see. Look at the food go up. They're the exact same food. They've mirrored each other exactly.
That is the mark of people who know what they're doing when the food timers are exactly the same. Oh, Classic Metal getting out a half a millisecond earlier, but maybe that'll make a difference in this match. It was so close last match.
It really was. So I think Classic Metal's still going to go with his Squirrel Falcon idea, but maybe he's going to toss in those moles at the front to, I don't know, distract, I guess, just to tank. I wouldn't be surprised. It fits into the build fairly well. He's going for ferrets this time instead of snakes, maybe because he's a bit more scared of defenses with this kind of build. I don't think he needs to be too scared of it with those moles though.
Classic has also gone for a machine gun turret instead of a sniper balloon. It's a little bit more of a panic button, a little easier to set up if you are in a tight spot. They build a little bit quicker and are cheaper. We'll see. There go those skunks for AV Ultima. One mole going up as well. And Classic Metal going for those falcons. In a classic Metal build.
Exactly, yeah. AV Ultima has one mole out as well.
AV grabbing that expansion to the east as he must. Metal grabbing the base to the west is his expansion.
He's doing the same thing. He took out AV's commander, and now he's going to push in again. Maybe just take out a mole, and that's it.
That mole getting taken out. That skunk is running to try and get to the front lines. But we'll see.
Classic Metal's already fallen behind. He had too many shots on that Warren, and that didn't manage to take down AV's army in time. That was an interesting little fight there. The fact that Classic Metal could use that tiny amount of time to actually do something is actually quite surprising to me.
See, AV Ultima taking advantage of that small victory to put down 2 farms as his expansion. Classic Metal is going to put down 2 farms as well. But I think AV Ultima is going to have a slight advantage here because of that last fight, not losing quite as many units.
Actually, look at army value. They're in the exact same position. They've both got 2 moles, they've both got 9 squirrels, and they've both got 2 tier 2s.
Wow.
This is really weird to see. They've got the exact same thing, except with different tier 2.
They've got the same military structures, and AV Ultima's a little bit ahead in economy. Here we go. Classic Metal is going to tentatively push forward. Those skunks are going to do a lot of damage to the squirrels on the ground. We'll see if they're enough to give the squirrels enough time to counter those hawks. We'll see.
AV Ultima going to go with a lot more squirrels, and I think that's wise. As long as he can take down those squirrels, enemy squirrels with those skunks, those squirrels for him are going to be really effective at taking down those falcons. Classic Metal uses this opportunity to pump more food into his expansion though. So AV Ultima is going to have a little bit more tempo right now with his units out already. Unless he can make good use of them though, he will lose out a very slight amount in the long term. But I don't think it's too big of a deal. He's already put farms into his expansion as well. And look at that army value graph. Classic Metal has been fairly stagnant for the last 2.5 minutes.
Alright, Classic Metal now taking advantage of the fact that AV Ultima went to go scout the base. He's going to take out those moles. AV Ultima's army is going to just now come in. Those skunks coming in for the flank. Classic Metal backing up to the safe-to-use machine gun turret. But AV Ultima's going to push in. Starting to take out squirrels. That turret goes down. Classic Metal's army is gone. AV Ultima still has lots of squirrels up, plenty of squirrels, and a skunk. He's going to start cutting into the rest of these warrens now. This is disastrous for Classic Metal, who's just thrown down 5 moles to try and stop this flow. More and more squirrels streaming in for AV Ultima, and it might be too late. Warren after Warren is going down. There goes the tier 2 Warren. Those moles coming in to try and do some firefighting. But is it going to be enough?
Moles, though. I think that is enough moles. AV Ultima's pulling back now. He did so much damage there, though. Look at all those warrens that went down. Like, you saw how many units he had before. Classic Metal has barely any now, and now is another fight.
AV Ultima pushing in, those moles going down one by one. He does take down both the skunks, so Classic Metal has a little bit of an advantage now, but all of his army is gone again. AV Ultima pushing through with another wave of units, going to take out this warren over here, and that's going to be the last warren besides moles. Classic Metal on 11 farms, AV Ultima also on 11 farms, but Classic Metal has no warrens anymore. Just moles and a machine gun.
That was really interesting how that tempo for AV putting down those squirrel warrens at that time actually paid off a massive amount. That squirrel advantage, that not just in the initial fight, but also in the reinforcements, really helped out AV a lot there. And Classic Metal is pretty boned right now.
4 farms farming now for Classic Metal, 9 for AV Ultima. And Classic Metal desperately searching for some way out of this, but here comes AV Ultima in for the kill, and I think this is GG here.
Oh, definitely. There's nothing Classic Metal can do now. There we go.
Down it goes. So AV Ultima taking game 3 of this best of 5 set. So the score is now 2-1 in favor of AV Ultima. Gonna go ahead and reset that Twitch chat poll. Go ahead and tell us who you think is gonna win Game 4 of this July Joust Semifinals match. Let's see, Classic Metal's gone for Toads. It's a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. AV Ultima hasn't taken those skunks yet. I think the skunks really helped, but really what helped was surging those squirrels at the right time in that last game. Falcons out for AV Ultima as well. We'll see how things go in this next match.
So AV Ultima is going with almost the same build right now.
Yeah.
But he is going with Falcons this time.
Taking those skunks just at the last minute. AV Ultima, I'm sorry, Classic Metal's gone for mines. That's an interesting choice from him. I don't think we've seen him play mines yet. Classic Metal is going to be in the south here. AV Ultima will be in the north in green. Twitch chat is rooting for AV Ultima right now. Games are 2-1 in favor of AV Ultima. Look at the map, both players have expansion options, but Classic Metal with slightly better. Classic Metal has about 3 bases on his side of the map, whereas AV Ultima has 1, 2. A contested zone in the middle of the map, though. We'll see how he decides to proceed once he gets far enough to start expanding. Dual commander visibility here. So we'll see what each commander is seeing in game.
So Classic Metal goes for a 7-farm Warren, as usual, and AV Ultima does the exact same thing. So they're lined up on food again.
Mirror builds.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see.
Just a little word about timing here. Usually what players do is they'll go to scout their opponent's base after building their first farm, and then when their tally reaches 44 food, they'll burrow back to their main base to either build another warren or build their first warren and build another farm before going to scout again. So when you see a player burrow back at 44 food, you know that they're thinking about timing and they're going for the optimal amount of time to build their next farm. Classic Metal's gonna build warrens on this contested hill here and put a mine down there as well. AV Ultima's gonna see and try and push forward. Oh, but Classic Metal sells those just in time, so the squirrels aren't able to take out the mines.
It's interesting. We haven't seen any mines be played in the playoffs yet. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. They should do well against those squirrels, in theory, but we'll have to wait and see. Classic Metal going up to 9 squirrels, and now with toes. So he's completely changed up his build, really. He's focusing on a different strategy now. Although it's still very squirrel heavy, apparently. There you go, 15 squirrels.
Do you think that this is an attempt to kind of shake up his build, or is it something he's been keeping in his pocket this whole time to try and shake things up once he's in a situation like this?
I couldn't possibly tell, but he definitely has been practicing that squirrel build a lot. So maybe he's just going the same kind of build, just switching up 1 or 2 units and seeing how that does and seeing if that can beat AV. Because right now he's been beat twice in a row. He thinks, okay, I need to change something, otherwise I'm going to lose again.
AV Ultima has grabbed that expansion, is ecoing like crazy. He's got that machine gun out in front to try and stem any kind of attack. Classic Metal with that 1 mine, you can see it right here. It's a little bit faded next to that toad, but it is there. Mine, of course, being able to take out 1 squirrel on the first hit and does AoE damage of about 3/4 of a squirrel's health to everything else within a 4x4 range. The Ultima.
So AV's going with that MG nest up on that hill. He's going with skunks as well. So he's going 12 skunks and 12 squirrels and 2 skunks, and that's going to be really effective against the mass amount of squirrels Classic Metal has out. 21 squirrels, and only just now building falcons, and he's way behind on economy as well. AV Ultima's already got half base done in the north.
Now, does AV Ultima build more turrets and try and turtle up to contain, or not contain, but to get this base up here in the middle in this contested? Or does he try and focus on units? He is going for that wolf. If that wolf gets out, Classic Metal's going to be in a heap of trouble.
Definitely, that wolf is going to be really powerful, those squirrels. He doesn't even need that many squirrels. He doesn't need to go over the top, because each of those squirrels is going to be dealing, what, 8 damage? 8 damage a hit! It's insane.
That's enough to take out a squirrel with 1 hit. And I don't know if Classic Metal has seen that there's a tier 3 out, but I don't know how he's reacting to that yet. He's got squirrels of his own, he's got hawks out now, or falcons out now.
Oh, it looks like he's going to go in for an attack before that wolf can even start building.
Alright, here we go. The moles are down. That machine gun is down. Squirrels are going down left to right. The skunks haven't fired a single shot yet. AV Ultima is in some trouble right now. squirrels are slowly getting whittled down, but one of the skunks is dead now. Does Classic Metal have enough to push through here?
The Classic overstayed his welcome. He did great bursting down that defense, but once those skunks actually got in the action, he was just sticking around too long. He didn't have enough brute force to burst down those skunks, but he didn't have... He couldn't have stayed. He needed to have just pulled back, and he pulled back a little bit too late. He still, I think, won the fight, but he's not going to be prepared for this next one.
Especially with who's come to join the party. The wolf knocking on the door with his megaphone is going to give 5 attack once he delivers that buff. And here he goes. There goes that buff. Those Warrens melting. Can Classic... Oh, Classic Metal's attacking right in the middle of the buff. So the buff does go down, but those squirrels just melting away. The wolf is almost dead though. 3 health, 2 health, just barely getting out in time. Oh, but lots of Warrens going down. That buff goes out once more. Skunk down. Wolf at 1 health. Oh! The wolf goes down to the pig. Slight mismanagement from AV Ultima, but I don't think it matters at this point. So many Warrens have gone down for Classic Metal. I think AV Ultima has done massive economic damage.
Yeah, Classic Metal has no Warrens left. He's trying to build some, but he's not going to get them out in time. Look at AV Ultima's army. Every time you go on the offensive like this, you're losing Warrens, you're getting a disadvantage for the next fight.
And AV Ultima is poised to win the semifinals and go on to the grand finals for a chance to become the champion of July Joust. 6 farms, AV Ultima on 7. But with 18 squirrels to Classic Metal's 2 field right now.
He's going to go up to 9, but that's not going to be enough. Classic Metal can't come back from this, realistically. AV Ultima looks like he's just searching for that base. I don't know if he quite knows where it is. He is going to find it soon enough, though. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. He has not scouted it, but now he's seen it. Rally his army in there and just finish off the last of Classic Metal's forces. Maybe playing it safe. Again, there's no reason for him to sit here.
I don't think that's a good plan. He just needs to go.
All he needs to do is end the game right now. Oh, he's waiting for the wolf.
He wants to go for a spectacular round.
Here comes the wolf. Classic Metal starting that fight a little bit. There goes the buff. Wolf has joined the fight now. Now we go the last of Classic Metal's armies, the last defending squirrels. And AV Ultima takes game 4 to win the semifinals, the first semifinal game. What a match.
Wow, that was really insane to see. So AV definitely was prepared to deal with the sort of style Classic Metal was going for. And once Classic Metal felt unsure of himself, AV Ultima just managed to take the other games easily.
You see the point where it all went downhill for Classic Metal, right in the middle of that graph there at 5 minutes. The fight that he lost all the Warrens in, he just couldn't quite recover from that. But let's jump back into the finals bracket to show you how things have changed. AV Ultima with a victory 3-1 over Classic Metal. But Classic Metal with a great run there, getting all the way up to the semifinals. So GG for everyone. But here we go into a highly anticipated matchup. Deadbones versus Zeno Akup. What's going to happen here, Hunter?
I don't know. Deadbones, they both are very confident right now. I'm sure of it. I know Zeno, I don't think he's ever been afraid of anything in his life. He just does what he needs to do every time. Deadbones, he always has something up his sleeve. I couldn't possibly call this. This is going to be a really interesting game. And a lot of people are looking forward to this. It's the classic showdown.
The revenge match to see who can really win the tournament this time and face AV Ultima in the grand finals. Are you ready to jump into this match, Hunter?
I am very ready. Let's do this.
All right, let's see who is going to take this next semifinals game. Zeno Akup as Hopper in red, or Deadbones, the one with 1,000 hours, in green as the quartermaster. Zeno Akup, of course, the champion, defending champion of the last tournament we had, May Mayhem.
Oh, they immediately pick their build. They're so ready.
They know.
Okay.
Yeah. Zeno Akup not going for what we've seen him do a lot of times. He hasn't gone for those 3 tier 2 units like we've seen him do in every other game.
Okay, well, here we go. Game 1, Zeno a Coop versus Deadbones in the Clash of Comrades July Joust Semi-Finals. Zeno a Coop to the east in red, Deadbones to the north in green. So why do you think Zeno has gone for this little build switch-up then?
I mean, maybe he's got some shenanigans up his sleeve. Maybe he's, played us this whole time, making us think that he's got this strategy down and he's going to switch up at the last second to try and throw Deadbones off. Because, of course, both players have played each other before. They both know each other's strategies and both know how each other thinks. See if it's going to be enough, though. This is kind of like a throwback to previous metas. Squirrel Lizard, maybe not so much, but Deadbones going for Squirrel Toad. Throwback to a couple patches ago. I'm going to turn on that dual commander visibility for you.
This is going to be a really interesting match. And Zeno going with the Wolf. So we haven't seen Zeno. Have we seen Zeno use Wolf at all?
I don't think so, no. He's usually gone Boar.
A lot of the higher up experienced players have written off Wolf, actually. But we've seen AV just use it very effectively, and we've actually seen it used quite effectively in a lot of games. It's quite tricky to use. You have to time that buff right. But potentially it's extremely strong. And Zeno trying to fake out Deadbones there with those digs, that was interesting to see.
Waiting to see which tier 1 Deadbones is bringing out, of course. Zeno Coop has this high ground advantage against Deadbones. We'll see if that comes into effect. Deadbones might have slightly easier access to all these expansions. Of course, Zeno Coop with a nice safe expansion to the east. But so far, both players gone for 7 farm warrants. Squirrels and Lizard, Squirrels and Toads out for each respective player. Nothing too surprising yet, except maybe Deadbones dying right there to Squirrels. But it happens.
Squirrels do a lot of damage. You'd be surprised how easily your commander will die in the early game against those squirrels. No player is going for tier 2 yet, they're focusing on those tier 1s. It's interesting.
I know those lizards are not going to do as well, or they're going to do better against those toads than squirrels would. They have about 10 health instead of the squirrels 5, so they're able to last 2 toad hits instead of just 1. We'll see how that stacks up. Of course, they also have Swift, so they move faster.
All this is interesting. Okay, it looks like Zeno's trying to catch Deadbones out here, and here we go, here's the fight.
Here go the toads in. Oh, and a lot of good toad hits. All of the lizards going down. Zeno Coop with no squirrels left. Deadbones is going to try and push this advantage with his 5 squirrels, some reinforcing. 1 farm has gone down. That's a win for Deadbones, I think.
Wow, that was a quick fight. Zeno kind of gets caught out a little bit there. His units seemed not quite ready to actually have a fight. And then he just kind of has to throw his lizards in and do as much damage as he could. And he just comes out a little behind. He does have enough units to back up to actually stop Deadbones from just completely winning. But he does take down 1 farm, and that could be a big deal going forward.
Zeno Coop ecoing up, as well as Deadbones also ecoing up. Deadbones going to have a slight advantage due to that fight. We can see the army value. Deadbones is slightly ahead. And a little bit ahead in economy as well, getting those farms out a little bit quicker. And if he keeps winning fights like that, he's got this game very well in hand. Hawk's going down.
He's going
to
up to
now.
Falcons, yeah. So he's got more tier 1s than Zeno right now, and now he's going to be going up to Falcons as well, and a sniper balloon. So he's got quite a bit of an advantage right now, and Zeno's just trying to focus on his farms. He's going up to 15 farms. That's his expansion is being fully fleshed out. Deadbones' expansion isn't fully fleshed out yet, but he has got the army value advantage and the defensive structure advantage right now. And as soon as that Falcon comes up, that's going to give him quite a bit of an advantage against this high ground.
Except that sniper balloon there might be able to take out the Hawk if it comes too close. So Zeno Coop's going to have to watch that pretty carefully. And we'll see. He might be
but Zeno doesn't have any Falcons. It's Deadbones with the Falcons. He's got Falcons and Ferrets now.
Oh, yeah. My apologies. Yeah. Deadbones ahead. Zeno Coop going for a wolf. Is that going to be enough to burst through Deadbones' army? He's got 8, going up to 12 lizards and going up to 12 squirrels. That's a very large tier 1 army. That could be devastating to Deadbones if he's able to get that wolf out in time.
He's going to have to do it soon, because Deadbones is if it's Deadbones attacks now, and he's just poking with those Falcons, using that high ground,
and
taking away that high ground advantage with those Falcons.
Yeah, taking out 2 more farms in the process, so poking away at Zeno Coop's economy. 12 farms for Deadbones to Zeno Coop's 10. This is tense right now, and in comes the Ferret. That's not good for Zeno Coop.
Oh, but Zeno's almost got his wolf out. He's got just maybe 20 more seconds on it, and he's also got a massive tier 1 army on the way. If that buff comes off, Deadbones is going to be utterly screwed unless he can pull out of that situation.
Ooh,
and those defenses will help him pull out a little bit faster and maybe not lose so much.
Alright, the wolf is out, but he hasn't spotted that tier 3 yet. I don't think he's seen the wolf yet either, and Deadbones, so that does go down. 8 farms for Zeno Coop left, but he's going to come around. Deadbones is going to see that wolf now, and now he's got to be worried, because a buff on all of those units is going to be devastating to his army. Pulling back, there goes that buff down.
Oh no.
The sniper balloon immediately down, all the squirrels going down. Lots of toad hits though. I don't think it's going to be enough though.
He tried to fight into the buff with those toads. I don't know if that was the correct decision though. He loses everything. He's selling stuff now.
Look at how many.
Because he hasn't got enough.
Look at how many units are still on the field for Zeno Coop. Warren after Warren going down. Timing attack from Zeno Coop. Devastating for Deadbones right now. Both players evening out on economy, but there's so many tier 1 units left. Zeno Coop can recover from this.
I don't think Deadbones can recover from this. With those massive amounts of tier 1s, Zeno, even though he lost loads, just reinforces so quickly. We're really seeing the advantages of having your massive amounts of tier 1s in your army with these past couple of games.
That buff going down once again. Not enough units. That wolf is about half health right now. Zeno Coop smartly pulling it back, but the wolf's continuing to fire away. So Deadbone's just barely beating off the attack, but there's nothing to defend now anymore. There's no warrant, no farms. Deadbone's on 1 farm right now. And that's just enough to keep him from starving.
I think what we saw was, if you look at the army value graph, Deadbones had quite a lot of a little bit of an advantage across a lot of that game. But once Zeno's advantage from putting his food into econ more paid off, he just won the fight with that wolf.
Zeno Coop taking game 1. Deadbones ceding the match to Zeno Coop. And it seems like that wolf just erases any kind of unit value advantage if you time it correctly. I mean, how do you think Deadbones could have reacted a little bit differently to prevent that from happening? I mean, he didn't quite scout that tier 3, but it was way off in a corner. And
I think he might have done a micro mismanagement. I think sending his toads in when the wolf got buffed was a good idea, because there was no way he was going to get his toads out of that situation. But I don't think he meant to send in his entire army, because his entire army got wiped out after that.
Right.
And here we go. Game starts immediately. Here we go. Game 2 of the semi-finals of Zeno versus Deadbones. We have Zeno to the west in red, Deadbones to the southeast in green. What do you think of this map then, Captain?
Oh, I don't know. Both players have good expansions. Zeno Coop might have a slight advantage in terms of there are more expansions closer to his main base. But Deadbones has that road right in front and a little bit of high ground. So I don't know, it's fairly even unless it goes into the long term, and then I think Zeno Coop's going to have a definite advantage, just in terms of expansion options. So I'm going to turn on this dual commander visibility so you can see what everybody's seeing. That poll has been reset, so go ahead and tell us who you think is going to win this Game 2 semifinals of Clash of Comrades July Joust.
I think it's going to be actually quite close. Like, we saw Zeno win decisively after the wolf push, but up until then, it was really close. I think the early game is really going to decide who wins. Whoever just does enough damage in the early game is going to pull ahead. And we did see Deadbones do a lot of harassment with his Falcons, but that didn't actually pay off that much, because Zeno still managed to build up a very large army with that Wolf's and then tier 1 combo.
But we'll see both players going for 7 farm Warren. Zeno Coop with lizards out now. Going for lizards and toads. Deadbones going for squirrels and toads. In the early game, those lizards are going to beat squirrels in a one-on-one even match, but towards the later game, that balance of power might shift to squirrels with their range. Chat completely split down the middle on who they think is going to win. 50-50. Zeno Coop's going to grab that expansion to the west, while Deadbones mirrors and grabs the expansion to the east.
I think it's really interesting how we haven't really seen Toads be used all that effectively up until now. We're seeing both players going for Toads, but with one of them with squirrels and one of them with the lizards. This is really strange, honestly.
Yeah, and I think
we've only just now seen Toads do well.
I think Toads do really well in mid to late game. When there are more units bunched up on the field, they can really get their money's worth by exploding and hitting a lot of units all at once, as opposed to the early game, where maybe the unit balls are a little bit smaller. Both players on 6 of their 1 tier 1 and 6 Toads. So even if they clashed right now, both players on 13 farms, fearing each other. Zeno Coop spots
I've got the exact same build right now, except with we've got Zeno on the lizards, Deadbones with squirrels. I know Zeno does prefer those lizards. We did see him go squirrels last game, but he did also have lizards. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see Zeno go lizards every game. Does like them a lot, and now he's going with a lot of farms on his expansion, and Deadbone's doing the same.
Deadbone's throwing up that sniper balloon in front that's going to help with defense. We'll see. I'll be interested to see where each player takes their third base. Whether Deadbones goes up here and takes this base to the northeast, or tries to be aggressive. Zeno Coop has a nice expansion choice right there. A little bit exposed. Should Deadbones decide to build Falcons. And Zeno Coop double expanding, grabbing that base to the south.
Ooh,
maybe he thinks he's a little bit ahead in economy, or maybe he's just trying to hedge his bets and force Deadbones into a corner. 2 turrets going up for Zeno Coop in the middle of the field.
Oh, Deadbones is building Uncle Butters right now.
Building that boar. That boar, of course, does a lot of area of effect damage all in front of him in a cone shape. And the most health of any unit in the game, 100 health, 100 base health. And it's about quarter done right now.
Good. That is going to be good versus Zeno's army. Zeno's got those lizard toad. Boar is going to destroy that composition, I think, really effectively. And then he's got ferrets and falcons to finish up. He's building everything he has. He's prepared to deal with anything that Zeno has, and those ferrets are going to be good versus those turrets. They're good at poking against that wolf army. That's going to be really definitely needed. You definitely need to poke against the wolf army. You can't go in all in. You need to be really careful, and that ferret's going to start bombing away.
All right, here we go. That boar is out now. Here comes the attack from Deadbones. He's got to attack now before that wolf gets out. Warren hasn't even finished building, and that boar doing a lot of damage to all the units. All the tier 1s are gone for Zeno Coop now. Deadbones pushing in, try and take down this base in front here. Wolf is just now starting to build.
If he can take down this wolf warren, that is going to be a big advantage for Deadbones. Does need to be careful because Zeno's on the defensive advantage right now. All those warrens are going to tank a lot.
Down it goes! Down goes the tier 3 warren. So Zeno Coop losing 240 food all in one go. That boar is still alive, taking things out. So Zeno Coop, massive economic damage, although he still has more farms than Deadbones. Deadbones has to press the advantage and do what he can right now to attack Zeno Coop's economy.
Deadbones need to escape. Zeno's winning the fight right now. Those ferrets and falcons pushed Deadbones away. He can't fight right now. He needs to pull back a bit and wait. And look, Zeno's actually got more farms than Deadbones now. Zeno has a lot of food spare and a couple more farms than Deadbones. Deadbones actually has less army than Zeno. Even after winning that, he didn't actually come out ahead.
13 farms to Deadbones 10, and Zeno Coop has just rebuilt all of his defenses right in front. He's taken that base, he's put down 3 machine guns, and Deadbones is going to come in again and try and take this down again. That ferret's going to start picking away, of course. Zeno Coop might try and pick off that ferret. It's alone out there. Ooh, just barely escaping that ferret fire. Gonna keep picking, and of course, Deadbones trying to catch up to Zeno Coop in economy. So amazingly, Zeno Coop still slightly ahead in this best-of-5 match.
Look where he's built his farms. He's spread them out, so that even if Deadbones attacks one of those bases, he's not going to take out all of the farms that Zeno has on separate bases. So if Deadbones decides to do that, that leaves a massive amount of time for Zeno to just come in and destroy Deadbones' windmills really easily, because they're just all right there.
That wolf is out. That's going to be very bad for Deadbones here. He does have a boar. We're going to see what these fully fledged armies do when they clash against each other. This is what this game is all about.
Deadbones does have slightly more army value, so in theory he should be able to pull ahead in this fight. But Zeno, if he goes on the attack against Zeno, Zeno's got that MG nest little... He's got two MG nests up there. Deadbones does have the sniper lane up there.
Deadbones trying to whittle down those machine guns as much as he can. He doesn't want to take a head-on fight into Zeno Coop's full-strength army with a wolf buff. That would be a disaster for him. Zeno Coop building some more farms here. 19 farms to Deadbones' 16. Ferret shots firing back and forth, and both players dancing around. Who's going to commit first?
Zeno's actually coming ahead. Look at the army value. He's building a lot on the back of this. Thanks to his farm advantage, he can... Oh, here we go. Here's the
there
fight.
Goes that buff. Deadbones is trying to commit here. That wolf doing so much damage with that buff. That boar trying to fire away as much as possible, and it's taking out all the lizards on the ground. But so many tier 2s left up for Zeno Coop. Deadbones is in a very bad position right now.
Yeah, Zeno managed to burst down everything around that boar. The boar stays alive, but everything around it dies, and it's just left alone. And here we go. Zeno can just hard commit here.
Alright, Deadbones smartly waiting until that buff is gone. The boar goes down though, and there's so many units out for Zeno Coop right now. Deadbones...
Oh, he does have a backup boar. He does have a backup boar.
2 boars, of course, going down. Those lizards getting melted, but down goes the boar. So both players tier 3 units. Who came out? Let's look at the army value graph. Both players about equal right now. But Zeno Coop with more farms yet again.
He's going to be able to reinforce faster. He's got a larger tier 1 army. And he can, yeah, look, he's going for an attack again because he has more tier 1s. He can attack faster and just catch Deadbones out before he can get re-prepared.
Those are good toad hits, but those ferrets in the background really serving to pick away at the units of Deadbones. And now they're starting to pick out the economy. Battle down in the middle here.
Just goes for another fight. As soon as Deadbones' army starts to try and get back up, Deadbones' army, or Zeno's army, is already a lot larger, and he can just pick it off.
So slowly losing Warren after Warren. 7 farms now. Zeno Coop has twice the economy that Deadbones does. Is Zeno Coop going to pull through and take a second game in this best-of-5 match? Backing off slightly just to rally his troops. But looking at the army value, you can see how far ahead. About twice the army value of Deadbones right now. And twice the economy as well.
Oh, here we go. That boar is out now, and Zeno doesn't have a wolf. So maybe that can pull him ahead. He's very far behind in army value, though. So much army value for Zeno here. And that boar gets taken out really easily. Once that boar gets surrounded, he has no chance.
And Zeno Coop taking game 2. Once that boar goes down, Deadbones just knows he's not in a good place. Wow.
Wow. So Zeno takes the second game in the series. So Zeno's going 2-0 versus Deadbones here in this clash. This is a best of 5. If Zeno wins another game, that means he goes through to the finals and Deadbones gets knocked out.
Exciting stuff. That poll has been reset, so go ahead and vote for who you think is going to win the game 3 of this semifinals. Deadbones, the man with 1,000 hours in the game, or Zeno Coop, the champion of last May's tournament.
Deadbones has to win 3 games in a row now to come back in this. And there is so much pressure on him now. After those 2 games, he is going to be really tilted. And here we go, going into game 3 of the semi-finals. Zeno Coop versus Deadbones. We have Zeno Coop to the south of the map in red, Deadbones to the north in green. Okay, Zeno's going with the exact same build, so he really trusts in that build. And it paid off a lot. Those, oh no, he's going with squirrels instead of toads this time.
Yeah, Deadbones...
So he really likes that wolf though.
The only change for Deadbones is taking skunks instead of falcons. We'll see if that makes the difference against those squirrels or not. Looking at this map here, that center base is going to be very important. Whoever controls that is going to have a great staging area for attacks and high ground to pick at their opponent's army. Deadbones with a slight advantage in bases right now. Both players have expansions, but Deadbones has better access to that base in the west surrounded by water. Long-term game, Deadbones is going to have an advantage.
Zeno immediately takes that windmill, and I think that's a good choice here, because that gives him free reign over Deadbones' base. Deadbones wouldn't be able to make too much without Zeno having control over it. But Zeno doesn't have anything to back this up, and Deadbones, as soon as he gets the squirrel out, that windmill's going to start going down.
Oh, but
Zeno's going to go for turrets!
2 turrets down, that squirrel comes out, but it might be too late. That second turret is almost up, the first one might be taken down. Oh, but it goes up, the third turret's going up, and that turret's going to start firing away. Deadbones in a lot of trouble early on into this match.
Oh, but it's firing at the windmill, the Warren. But it does go down. Okay.
It does go down. All squirrels going down for Deadbones, and Zeno Coop throwing up a turret on that high ground. We're going to have to watch this carefully. We are not quite past the 2-minute mark, 1 minute 50, so if it can hit... Okay, it's out of range, so that is a legal move. It's almost not legal if that turret can hit the pigs. It's quite... Okay, so now we're at 2 minutes, so everything's legal. Deadbones throwing up that sniper balloon.
Going for a sniper balloon. That's exactly what he needs here. He needs the high ground vision constantly, and he needs to somehow work up his army a little bit so he can actually deal with this. Zeno with that those Warrens at the front, he's in a perfect position to stage an attack, and thanks to that sniper balloon, Zeno is forced to sell that turret. So he's in slightly worse of a position. If Deadbones can come ahead somehow with his army, he is trying to build ferrets, then he'll be in a good position to push Zeno off that hill.
Alright, we'll see. This is a contain by Zeno Coop, although there is a base right there. Ferrets coming out for Deadbones right now. He knows he needs to get those ferrets out as soon as he can, as we just said. 10 farms for Zeno Coop against Zeno's 8, or against Deadbones' 8. Let's look at the army value graph here. Zeno Coop slightly ahead.
Yes, because Deadbones has gone for his ferrets, and those take a lot longer to actually pay off in the army value. And he has got 1 ferret out now. And while Zeno's poking away at that expansion, Deadbones can use his squirrels to actually poke away at Zeno's squirrels. And now looks like Zeno wants to pull back a little bit.
Oh, an excellently placed sniper balloon. Again, giving that vision onto the high ground. Here is what Deadbones can see. That ferret has plenty of time just to pick away at those Warrens on the hill there. Zeno Coop's contain looking very shaky right now. No turrets up anymore. A lot of his Warrens going down. That's a lot of food. 60 food per Warren that he's losing.
And Zeno can't hard engage against these ferrets either, because that sniper balloon will dominate his army. It's not a big army. It's only got, what, like 8 squirrels? That's not enough to be able to overwhelm that sniper balloon, especially with an army behind it, I don't think.
He'll try and pick away as much as he can, but those ferrets, again, pushing him back. Warren going down, but here comes the engage right now. Squirrels going down on both sides. Looks like Deadbones coming out slightly ahead with those ferret shots. Well, maybe not, it dies. One lizard left.
He does lose all of his tier 1s, and those are very essential right now. Those ferrets do a lot of damage if they can stay at the back, especially against big armies. We saw in our last game. That ferret is bound to hit something if it just shoots.
And a skunk has come out for Deadbones.
Oh, the skunk. That's going to be amazing against Zeno here.
That replaces the sniper balloon. It's a safe place for those units to run back as long as he keeps that skunk in the background. Takes 1 shot. Gotta be careful with that. Skunk backing up, and the skunk log is getting more and more laid down. Down goes that expansion, along with 3 farms farming at it. Skunk's still alive. Hawk out for Zeno Coop.
Deadbones needs to be really careful. He doesn't want to lose his squirrels there, because those are the only things that can deal with that falcon. And that skunk is almost down as well, and that skunk is really valuable right now.
2 health left, down goes the skunk.
Oh.
It's barely taken down. That skunk fog will linger for a little while. But Deadbones
Look at
does...
the farms.
4 farms to 9. Coop has lost that expansion. He had 3 farms on that going down, so Deadbones actually with the economic advantage. What Coop's going to do to come back from this?
gonna have to win this fight, and he can. He's got a great army right now. He just managed to completely force Deadbones out of that position. Deadbones has to pull back now, but he has enough food to be able to reinforce. But does he have enough time? Zeno is already knocking on his expansion. And here we go, Deadbones is trying to go for another fight, but he wasn't ready. He didn't have enough army yet. Zeno, nevertheless, is forced out. A lot of his units have taken a lot of damage, and those first going to start shooting at Zeno's army. But Zeno is shooting right at that expansion right now, and if that expansion goes down, that's a massive deal for Deadbones.
Crucial that Deadbones protect that expansion. And Deadbones is going to surrender? Oh no, Deadbones wins! Zeno Coop has surrendered, meaning Deadbones has won his first game in this semi-finals set.
Okay, that's really important for Deadbones now. He can regain some confidence. He can be in the position to take a reverse sweep and just take 2 more games and get into the finals. Zeno there, after he loses his position, he just lost that last fight and he had no chance after that. He didn't have enough econ on the back of it to actually come back.
Alright, well let's reset this poll here. Go ahead and vote on who you think is going to win Game 4 of this semi-finals.
Yep, and we have Zeno to the northwest in red, Deadbones to the southeast in green. And look what Zeno's done now that he's lost.
He's gone for that standard build. That's what we've seen him take time and time again. Not quite a panic build, but something he's very, very familiar with. Taking 3 tier 2s, giving him lots of space to respond to anything that Deadbones puts out on the field. Look at this nice wide open field in the middle of this fight, or in this map. And a road there too.
Yeah.
Great place for both armies to square up, yeah.
Yeah, really nice little battleground, really nice little map, yeah. And Deadbones, he's going with the same army he did last game, I believe. And it worked out really well for him.
Yeah. Deadbones with a slight advantage in terms of...
Oh no, he's not going with Skunks this time, that's the difference.
Ah, he's gone for Hawks again, yeah.
Yeah.
Deadbones with a slight advantage in terms of expansions. He's got 4 or 5 around him, with Deadbones, or Zeno Coop only has 2. So if the game goes long, Deadbones is going to have a large economic advantage, unless Zeno Coop can deny it by keeping up that constant pressure.
So both players have gone for that 7 farm warren, and yeah, pretty much exactly the same time. Deadbones is going to go for 2 squirrel warrens. Zeno, is he saving up for a tier 2?
I think he is. There he goes. It'll be Skunks.
The skunk. And Deadbones spotted that as soon as it went down. So I don't know what he's going to assume that is. Maybe he's going to assume it's Skunks. He is going for Falcons, so he probably does assume that it's Skunks. I mean, what else could it be? Maybe Falcon. It could have been Falcons, but why would Zeno play Falcons so early in the game? Right. It's definitely Skunks, and Deadbones knows it.
We actually saw some players yesterday using that early Skunk to great effect in the quarterfinals. So we'll see if it does the same thing for Zeno Coop, or whether Deadbones can figure out a way to counter it. Again, he is putting out those Hawks. Those are going to be able to hit those Skunks from the air without getting affected by skunk gas. And Skunks can't do anything about it. Especially since Zeno has Lizards as his tier 1. Those aren't great at anti-air. They do some damage, but not quite enough to deal with the massive Hawks.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They do have a lot of tankiness, so maybe they'll be able to absorb a lot of that burst. But as for taking out those Falcons, which he's going up to 4 Falcons, it's going to be a problem. Unless Zeno can put something else behind those Lizards to actually deal the massive amount of damage, he's going for Falcons, so maybe that can do it. It's going to be a struggle though, and Zeno picks up that expansion, he's going to start putting farms on it. So he's going to keep his army around there, ready to respond to anything Deadbones does, and he's always going to be around. He's going to see what if Deadbones does anything.
Alright, Zeno Coop slightly faster on getting that expansion. It's going to have a slight economic advantage. Zeno Coop, or Deadbones, is going to throw down 2 farms to try and compensate. Checking into the army value graph, both players just about equal, crossing each other's lines all over the place. Deadbones with slightly more military structures. Both players about equal on economic structures, except Zeno Coop's gotten them out a little bit early.
Deadbones is up to 3 Falcons right now. He's building his 4th. Those are going to be really powerful against Zeno's army, I think. Especially those Skunks. Those Skunks aren't going to pay off that much, I think, against these Squirrels and Toads. Both players have gone for 4 farms. So they're even on economy right now. Zeno saved up a lot of food though, and he's going to pump it all into 4 more farms. So he's going to have massive economy. Deadbones has got a couple more farms. I'll be interested to see if he just matches that and goes for 2 more farms himself, or if he's just going to put into army value. It looks like he's going for army. Nope, he's going for farms.
No, going for farms, okay. So trying to match that economy, a little bit behind. I don't know whether it would have been a better idea to try and push in right now while he knows he could have that army advantage. But again, with so much on the line, remember, if Deadbones loses this game, he's out of the tournament. His Grand Finals dreams will be dashed, and Zeno Coop will advance to the Grand Finals.
Zeno's going with the Wolf now. Once that Wolf comes out, Deadbones is going to be a lot of trouble. It seems that Deadbones doesn't have that good of a method of taking out that Wolf. Wolf is very tricky to take out, and thus far we haven't seen him be able to deal with it too satisfyingly. Obviously, last game, Zeno never managed to go that far in the game.
Deadbones is getting a boar out. Uncle Butter is going to join the fight. And he's going to get some ferrets that'll help to pick away at those machine guns, and maybe force a fight from Zeno Coop, or force an ill-timed fight. But that wolf is about half out right now, whereas that boar isn't even a quarter out yet.
Yeah, if Zeno goes for a timing attack on this wolf, which he loves to do, and it's a really powerful little tactic there. If he goes for a timing attack, Deadbone's going to be caught out completely. Let's look at army value right now. So Zeno just gained a massive amount of army value. He doesn't have long before Deadbones actually gets his butters out though.
That wolf timing is going to be crucial right now. Both armies dancing around. There goes the buff down. Oh, and Deadbones pulling back, saving as many units as he can until his boar is able to come out. In front, the boar goes in the very front lines to try and soak up as much damage. Not a good idea to run through that fog, but he's going to do it anyway. He has to, because that buff is going to be back up very soon. Down goes the buff.
Oh, there goes the buff. And look how much damage that boar took as soon as that buff went out. He's already on like 40 health, 30 health. It's down. That boar is down. That's a big deal. And Zeno can just regroup here and fight around his windmill and just win another fight potentially. Deadbones is putting a lot of food into Falcons right now, and that is a good decision, I think. That's going to allow him to take down those that wolf maybe a little bit quicker as soon as he re-engages.
Fight coming again. Deadbones trying to drag his Falcons to the back of the fight so they don't get taken out immediately, because they're the only defense he has against those skunks. Those ferrets trying to fire away. Zeno Coop backing up a little bit. Maybe going in to try and finish it off. We'll see how quickly these Falcons can come out.
Deadbones can't pull back too much though, remember, because if he gives Zeno too much ground, then Zeno's going to lay down a lot of smoke there.
Ooh, and down goes the buff. That's a lot of army gone for Deadbones. It looks like he might lose all of his army right here. Just Falcons left. His tier 1s are reinforcing right now, but Zeno Coop is just going to keep pressing.
Yeah, and as soon as he pushes in and tries to punish Zeno, Zeno just takes down anything that was doing that. And so we see all of those Falcons go down. Deadbones has nothing left, and Zeno takes it!
Zeno Coop taking game 4 to win this set. Zeno Coop is going to go on to the Grand Finals. The defending champion will have another shot at this tournament. Wow, what a set.
Wow. That really was an astonishing set. We saw Zeno be really dominant in those games. Deadbones only managed to take one of those games, and I think that's going to surprise some people because it looked like a really even matchup, and it was so close. But it seemed like Deadbones wasn't prepared to deal with the Wolf. We haven't seen Wolf be used that much, and maybe it wasn't used that much against Deadbones. As soon as that Wolf came out in any of those games, Deadbones started to lose. Like we saw in the first game, those Falcons did some good poking for Deadbones and took out quite a few of those farms. But once that Wolf came in, Deadbones just completely crumbled.
Definitely, and we'll get that score updated for you right away. But right now, it is time for halftime. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break for you guys. There is going to be a poll during halftime. You can vote on your favorite structure. But we'll be back in 10 minutes with the bronze match of Clash of Comrades July Joust. That bronze match, of course, going to be Classic Metal versus Deadbones. So take a breather, get some water, go to the bathroom, and we will be back in 10 minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Clash of Comrades July Joust. We just had some amazing semifinals matches. We have something a little bit special for you before we go back into our bronze match here. We've got some stats for you from our analyst, ShoeFlyPie. ShoeFlyPie is joining us on the line here as we speak. Here
Hello.
we go. You can see those stats here. Hi, ShoeFlyPie.
How's it going?
It's going well. So what do we have here? Tell us what we're seeing.
All right, so just for fun, I collected some stats from the group stage games. I downloaded all the replays and looked at the replay files and pulled out the stats of the units that everybody selected in their armies and what commanders they used. So as you can see, most people preferred to play Quartermaster, and Hopper was the least favorite. But on the left side, I think is one of the most interesting things is the most popular units. Squirrel, by far and away, was the most popular unit selected in 77% of players' armies. And the next most popular tier 1 was Mole, which was used like half as much. And Mole is typically only used with Squirrel, so you can just see how much the Squirrel has shaped the meta in this tournament. And then Falcon has also been extremely popular, as well as the machine gun turret, both 69 and 63%. And then everything else wasn't used quite as much, but like ferrets and skunks were just a bit below ferrets in popularity in tier 2, and the most popular tier 3 by far was the boar. And then the rest of the tier 3s were pretty close to each other. Fox being the next one highest up because Fox is really fun to play.
All right. Well, do you think this is some sort of meta that we're seeing, that players are starting to figure out which units are best on this patch? Or, as you're saying, those tier 3s, except for boar, are all pretty close to each other. What do you think? Are we seeing a meta emerge here, or is it?
The interesting thing was the meta was quite different between the two groups, whereas Group A was strongly warped by Squirrel play. Group B actually only Squirrel's taken about 50% of the time in Group B, but you could see how much Squirrel was warping the meta in Group A because Group A also had a lot more mole play, a lot more skunk play to counter the Squirrels, and a lot more pigeon play to sort of lessen the effect of the skunks on the Squirrels.
Right. All right. Well, interesting stuff from our analyst, ShoeFlyPie. Any closing remarks from you, Shoe?
I think one thing I didn't mention on the infographic was the number of each tier in the armies, which is pretty close to what we typically tell people standards builds are, with 2 tier 1s and tier 2s, 1 tier 3 in structure. Except it's a little higher for the structure's average is like 1 1/4. So enough people were taking 2 structures to bump that stat up a little bit.
Right. All right, well, fascinating stuff from the world of stats from our analyst, ShoeFlyPie. ShoeFlyPie, thank you so much for getting those stats to us and coming here to talk about them. It's a pleasure to have you on the stream.
Looking forward to some great games.
All right, well, I think we're ready to jump into our bronze match here. Hunter, are you ready to start casting?
Oh, I'm definitely ready. I'm raring to go. Deadbones versus Classic Metal.
All right. We're going to see how Deadbones decides to deal with this strategy that we've seen be so dominant from Classic Metal. Let's go ahead and jump right in.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Classic Metal is a little bit thrown off now. He decided to switch up his build a bit again in those games versus AV. He tossed in a couple of different units and they didn't seem to work out. I think Classic Metal needs to just stick to his tried and true method, because maybe it'll work against Deadbones.
All right, well, we're seeing Classic Metal go for that build. He's got those his tried and true skunks and also Fox in there.
Here we go. Game 1 of the bronze match. It's deciding 3rd place for July Joust, Clash of Comrades. Here we go, Classic Metal to the southwest. in purple. Deadbones to the northeast in green.
Alright, looking at this map, nice little lakefront view property for Classic Metal. A nice moat on either side. It's a veritable castle.
Yeah.
But otherwise, looks like Classic Metal might have an advantage in terms of expansions. He's a little bit closer to those bases, but Deadbones has that nice northern expansion that Deadbones, of course, loves to take. That sneaky secret expansion that nobody scouts until it's too late. So that's why there's so many units in my base.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he picks it up. He could make it fairly protected with a sniper balloon or something, just to stop it from being rushed. But even if it does get rushed, Deadbones will be able to come in and just defend it easily. We're getting a bit of ahead of ourselves. Here we go. It's just 7 farm warrens. It's early times yet. We'll wait and see what happens.
Both players at 8 farms now, filling it out. Standard play so far. Be interesting to see. Deadbones does not have skunks here. Will be interesting to see whether those moles are going to be enough to counter those early squirrels there.
I think what Deadbones is going to do here is just focus on his aggressive squirrel mole push. We saw that against Valently a couple of times, and it was really strong. That squirrel mole push in the early game completely catches an opponent out unless they're completely prepared for it. Classic Metal is going to have a lot of squirrels out, but I don't know how effectively he'll be able to deal with a squirrel mole push by someone as experienced as Deadbones. We'll have to wait and see.
We've said that before, though. You know, experience would win the time, and Classic Metal has pushed through time and time again. So maybe we'll be wrong. Personally, I think the most important thing for Deadbones here is not to underestimate Classic Metal. Don't let the fact that he's new to the game think that it'd be an easy victory. So far, looks like he hasn't.
It looks like he's really preparing for a massive army here. He's got a lot of food out. He's going to put down more squirrels. He's just going to build up the squirrel mobile, as we've seen him do, into a massive army. And here we go. Classic Metal looks like he's going to try and contest his high ground, and I think he needs to right now. He takes that windmill. We could see a fight erupt at any moment now.
Now, does Deadbones go in and try and take this windmill out, maybe losing some of his squirrel shots to that windmill? Or does he let it go up and let Classic Metal use it as kind of a shield?
I think he does need to... He needs to wait until Classic Metal comes at him, and here we go.
Alright, Classic Metal's forced that fight, not quite getting that warren down. Looks like those moles are doing their job. Lots of squirrels for Deadbones up. Looks like Classic Metal's entire army is gone except for one falcon, and that goes down too. Great start for Deadbones.
Deadbones was completely prepared for that. He drew Classic Metal in, and he knew that he could completely dominate all those squirrels and falcons. Falcons cost a lot in the other game. They don't reinforce fast, they cost a lot. They take ages to get the first one out. And that gives Deadbones the advantage. And now he's just pushing in and using that advantage.
Continuing to push out warren after warren, falling for Classic Metal. Deadbones starting to run out of units though. He's going to have to pull back and regroup a little bit before he goes in for another attack. He's got 9 farms to Classic Metal's 8, and Classic Metal lost a lot of food to losing those warrens.
As long as Deadbones has enough squirrel warrens in the background, he can keep up this fight for a while. He's got 12 squirrels on the way. As soon as he has that, he's going to be able to overwhelm Classic Metal completely, especially with those 4 moles tanking. That's a lot of moles. He does get kind of caught out here, but it doesn't matter because he just takes out the enemy falcon really easily.
Pushing in to do even more economic damage. Another warren going down. All of Classic Metal's army gone, not able to reinforce. Those are the last 2 warrens that he has. I think it was smart to build them on that low ground to try and push out of that possible contain, but again, they're getting taken out one by one. So
and Deadbones just tosses out some more warrens, and there we go, it's over.
Alright, so
Deadbones takes it.
Game 1 goes to Deadbones, a great start. He's got to keep this up though. He can't let himself fall into a zone of comfort like so many other players have against Classic Metal. Classic Metal can still come back from this. I'm going to go ahead and reset that chat poll. Let's go ahead and tell us who you think is going to win Game 2 of the bronze match of Clash of Comrades July Joust. Classic Metal going
Best
for
of 5.
best of 5, yes. Deadbone's going for the same build. Classic Metal going for skunks and moles. Was a sniper balloon
Deadbone's
this time.
going for Badger this time. He was going to go with Boar, but he's decided to go with Badger. That's interesting. And Classic Metal's going for Mole this time, and I think maybe he wants to copy Deadbones a bit more. He's seen how powerful that Scroll Mole push can be, or maybe he's had something else like he's been working on. He wants to try this out against Deadbones. I don't know. I don't know what's going through any of these players' heads, but I assume Classic Metal was shaken up a little bit after that loss just then.
Alright, and the Twitch chat believes in Classic Metal. Lots of energy going to Classic Metal right now, as the vote is about 2/3 in favor of Classic Metal. We'll see if he can live up to their expectations as the underdog, taking out Deadbones, who of course has 1,000 hours in this game. Go ahead and turn on that dual commander invisibility for you. Deadbones doesn't have some excellent expansions in terms of his beloved secret base strategy. He does have a couple options, maybe off to that golden base. See what he decides to do. Otherwise,
he hasn't had the greatest maps for it in these semis and quarters. So, unfortunately, Deadbones hasn't been able to use his little ace up his sleeve.
See 7 farm Warren for both players yet again. Both going squirrels. You can see that food total is going up identically right now. Good players have their timings down. I think Deadbones has the advantage in terms of early gameplay and expansions with that base up on the high ground. He's going to be able to shut down any kind of rush or early push and take those bases to expand fairly easily. Whereas Classic Metal's going to have to work a little bit harder. He does have that nice tower base in the east.
Yeah, I don't think either player is going to be too starved for expansions, although I think Classic Metal is a little bit more in danger of being forced into an enclosed situation. Not necessarily an contain, but he could be forced and pressured out by Deadbones, who is again going for that Squirrel Mole strategy that does put a lot of pressure on your opponent.
8 farms each. Classic Metal throwing down a Skunk Warren, which is going to do great against those early squirrels. Will it be enough, though, to counteract those moles that are going to tank shots from the squirrels? Deadbone's going for that expansion. Nice, easy, natural base.
And he's also going with more squirrels, so he's just going to do the same thing he did last game of build up a massive squirrels and push in with those moles, it looks like. He is putting down a few more farms, so maybe he's going to just have some insurance on the longer game, or maybe he is going to focus on the longer game. We don't know. Classic Metal has got his first skunk out, and that is going to be very strong versus all these squirrels.
Classic Metal getting his own expansion there. Of course, Deadbone's a little bit ahead, but here comes Classic Metal in. Maybe not quite timed perfectly. That mole is going to tank a few shots. The skunk running to the front gets taken down without firing. Oh, he fired one shot, but it's hidden behind there.
Once.
One
and
shot.
Now that second skunk comes in and gets completely taken out. That was a big mistake for Classic Metal. He tried to take Deadbones out. He took Deadbones out and then pushed in for an attack. But Deadbones came in the nick of time. Came on in and just regrouped his army and completely stomped Classic Metal there.
He was able to take out that skunk before it got down a lot of skunk fog from its cannon there. So a blow for Classic Metal. 13 farms to Classic Metal's 11. Classic Metal's going to come in and try to do the same thing. Is he going to be foiled the exact same way? He doesn't have skunks this time. He's going to back off, losing a couple of squirrels as he goes. Deadbones.
He does manage to pick off that mole that Deadbones had at the front. But that just bought him Deadbones time, really. It bought him time to get his army into position and force Classic Metal out. Classic Metal's focusing on those skunks right now. He's got 2 of them out. But Deadbones has ferrets, which are going to be really strong if Classic Metal decides to keep going with this strategy of kind of waiting and then just going for an attack.
Yeah, coming in waves that aren't very successful. He doesn't know about that sniper balloon yet. It's going to start picking away at the squirrels. It's going to start taking out some of the... Oh, no. Disaster for Classic Metal. Both skunks getting taken out. And this looks like a very strong position for Deadbones to be in. Starting to take out Warren after Warren. Those ferrets hammering in from the back. Classic Metal's
Yeah,
in
with
a
those
lot of
ferrets at the
trouble.
back of the army, we've seen a lot of the experienced players do this, where they just have the ferrets at the back of the army, not necessarily for taking down defenses, but just for constantly hammering down massive fire. That's 10 damage every 2 seconds if they hit. That's a 5 DPS. That's nothing to be taken lightly.
Classic Metal on 13 farms, Deadbones on 16. Again and again, Deadbones has been winning these small engagements, and Classic Metal's only got Squirrel Warrens out right now. Only 2 of them, 4 moles out. It's not going to be enough against Deadbones' 12 squirrels, going up to 18, along with 2 moles and some ferrets to back up. Look at him hammering away at the main of Classic Metal. Look at this graph. Deadbones is pulled very far ahead in terms of army value. Ahead in military structures and ahead in economy. He's ahead in everything.
So Deadbones is placing down a lot more moles now. He's just going to go in for a final push on the Classic Metal's last base. And Classic Metal comes in desperately, tries to take down anything. And there we go.
So Deadbones taking game 2 of the bronze match here. Will he be able to sweep this bronze match series, or will Classic Metal claim 1 game, just 1, off of Deadbones, of course, the 2nd place finisher of last May's tournament. I'm going to reset that poll for you guys. Go ahead and vote on who you think is going to win game 3 of this best of 5.
Okay,
Deadbones
so
going
there's
for
a lot of
chameleons.
pressure. Okay, there's a lot of pressure, and immediately Deadbones going for chameleons. Okay, this is silly. Deadbones going for chameleons and 2. Is he doing?
Three structures Deadbones has gone for.
Is he doing what I think he's doing? Is he doing the Derg strat that he tried to do yesterday?
I think he's doing the Derg strat.
That would be ridiculous. Classic Metal's going for artillery!
Oh,
okay.
no!
Okay.
So, perhaps a battle of the structures here. Uncle Butters, the last choice for Classic Metal.
And here we go. The 3rd match of these bronze matches. Deadbones versus Classic Metal. Deadbones to the northeast in green, Classic Metal to the south in purple. And what on earth do you think is going to happen this match, Captain?
I really hope we get to see structures creeping forward. We see both players with barbed wire. We haven't seen that in the tournament at all yet. We see artillery from Classic Metal. Of course, that's a tier 3 structure. Does a lot of damage, and it's an area of effect damage. So 3 shots from that artillery are going to wreck every ground army in the game. Air armies, not so much. Deadbones does have those falcons, which are the counter to artillery. But we'll see. Both players again with their timings are on point. Twitch chat is split between Classic Metal winning and 3 other players. No one really going for Deadbones here.
Deadbones is going for a ridiculous strategy with the chameleons. Like, maybe he could weave them in with a tier 2 army. With those falcons and lizards. I don't know what he's going to do. It doesn't look like he's going for a self-contain where he just walls himself off from the rest of the map. He doesn't really have a good map for that at all. So, I don't know what he's going to do. Is he just playing around here? Is he like, oh, I got this. I'm going to demoralize Classic Metal with my chameleons.
Well, we'll see. He hasn't put any down yet, but we'll see whether he gets overconfident and gives Classic Metal a game off of him. Who knows what will happen here.
Yeah, I think if Classic Metal just goes back to the sort of strategy he had originally, it was working out for him, and he's clearly practiced it a lot. He needs to have a bit more faith in himself, I think. Here we go, he's going up to 12 squirrels, so he's got a lot of power right now. But Deadbones has that MG across the bridge, so Classic Metal isn't really going to be able to do anything here.
12 squirrels going out for Classic Metal. Those chameleons are going to be out pretty soon for Deadbones. Now that Warren is about, not pretty soon, but it's kind of half out. Taking expansion to the back, a nice safe expansion. Classic Metal taking that forward expansion, jumping that natural base that he has. He's going to put down his barbed wire right now. Just barely out of range of that turret there.
Ooh, but Deadbones is building his chameleon. His chameleon is halfway out.
chameleons, of course, are very good against barbed wire. Barbed wire being able to, or their chameleons being able to take out barbed wire in 2 hits. So 2 chameleons taking it out in 1 hit.
It's very interesting what Classic Metal's done here, actually. Put that barbed wire first.
There goes the artillery.
It pretty immune to the lizards. Now he's got the artillery cannon down.
Alright, so artillery going up from Classic Metal. The first time we have seen artillery in this bronze match, or in these finals at all. Not a lot of players taking it.
Yeah.
There it is. It is out now.
First shot's wasted. But he can start shooting on that MG nest. And oh, the chameleons. He spots the chameleons now. That's gonna... That reveals a little bit about what Deadbones is doing here. So maybe he can strategize around that.
Oh, and look at this. Classic Metal's using that high ground. Give you the visibility of Classic Metal right here. You can see he runs onto that high ground and gives visibility up there briefly. Looks like he's hit all the targets he can for now.
And Classic Metal's building a lot of farms behind this. He's got 13 farms. Deadbones is pretty much matching that as well. Deadbones is building a lot of chameleons now. He's going up to 4 chameleons, and we haven't seen an actual fight out yet. Deadbones manages to get up a sniper ball in, which is going to kind of ward off Classic Metal from going in for an attack. That artillery cannon isn't really going to do much anymore, but maybe Classic Metal can just use that artillery cannon as a method of allowing him to weaken up a bit more. And he's going up to 16 farms.
Of course, that whole west end of Classic Metal's base is still available for attack. You will have to traverse those bridges. So if Classic Metal can take that western base, he might be able to shut down this whole side of the southern part of the map. Again, that main route in front of his base is shut down by that artillery.
Deadbones is focusing a lot on these chameleons. He's going up to 6 chameleons. That's going to be interesting. Classic Metal doesn't actually have that many falcons, so maybe it's a good strategy. He's going up to 8 now, whereas Classic Metal go up to 18 squirrels, which is going to be fairly effective against chameleons. Obviously, chameleons attack once every 2 seconds for a 16 damage hit, so great against bigger units, but squirrels have the least health. They're 5 health, so it's really wasted.
Ooh, look at this. Deadbones has expanded twice. He sees the 1 there, and he's got 1 in the west, and he's dragging his chameleons around to try and do some damage to these farms. It looks like Classic Metal's off here. He's coming back now. Is he going to be able to catch Deadbones in time? Those units still standing there unawares, and in go the chameleons.
Oh my.
Oh, so much damage all at once. Down goes the expansion.
Take it down. Wow. Okay.
It's got to get out of here, though.
Big deal.
Those chameleons
those chameleons survive.
All of those chameleons. All those chameleons still alive. Classic Metal wants revenge, though.
Taken down in the space of like 4 seconds. That was insane.
In comes Classic Metal.
Classic Metal's moving up. Here we go. Classic Metal's moving out, but Deadbones is attacking at the same time as well. It's going to be a base race, it looks like.
Oh, but look at the map. Look how many bases Deadbones has all across the map. By the time Classic Metal gets around and destroys them all, it's going to be too late, because Classic Metal's only on 1 base at this point. Heartbreak.
Yeah, this is over. This is over.
Classic Metal.
He doesn't know when there are enough bases to survive.
And he knows it. Down goes the 3rd base.
Wow. That was an insane game.
Deadbones showing he's still got it. Those 1,000 hours haven't been for nothing. Taking this series.
He takes the bronze match. He's 3rd place.
0. Wow. So congratulations to Deadbones, winning that bronze match, being in 3rd place. We're going to go ahead and go back to the brackets. Of course, that's not updated yet, so a little bit of a glitch on our part, but that's okay. We're going to jump into the last match we have for you today. Of course, the culmination of 1 month of play, 252 games of pool play, and all of these games in the finals here have come forward to give us this match right here, AV Ultima versus Zeno in the grand finals of July Joust. Any predictions here?
I don't know what to say. Zeno, obviously an extremely strong player. Prepared for pretty much any situation. We didn't see him get caught out by pretty much anything. The only match he's lost in these, in this set, this playoffs, we've only seen him lose 1 match, and that's versus Deadbones, where he tried to contain Deadbones and just lost that aggression. It seems that Zeno is a lot more comfortable in the late game where he can just completely dominate the opponent with his Wolf Army or something similar, or all those tier 2s, which give him a lot of variety. So I think if the game goes long, it's going to be a struggle for AV. AV obviously very good at that aggressive player. We saw him do that a couple of months ago. That's what he used to do all the time. He used to go for those early aggressive pushes with all those squirrels. Nowadays, you see him branch off into a lot more. He's capable of pretty much anything. I wouldn't be surprised to see this go to the whole 7 games.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get right to it without any further ado. AV Ultima versus Zeno Coup, the grand finals of Clash of Comrades July Joust. Let's get into this. AV Ultima is going to be the quartermaster in the green, taking over the quartermaster where Dead Bones could not succeed. Zeno Coup, of course, his favorite red hopper. I'm excited for this. I can't wait.
This is exciting.
Twitch chat vote has been reset. Go ahead and vote for who you think is going to win this first of the best of 7 of the grand finals of July Joust.
This is the culmination of the last month of efforts from these players, both fighting to be the top of their group. AV Ultima did come the top, Zeno just below him. This is going to be really interesting. Okay, here we go. Game 1 of the Grand Finals for Clash of Comrades July Joust. We have Zeno Coup, the current champion, to the east in the red. AV Ultima to the northwest in green, the challenger.
Can he upset this match here and defeat the defending champion, or will Zeno Coup once again prove that he's the best player of Tooth and Tail in this tournament?
Oh, this is going to be really exciting to watch. So both players going with that wolf. Both players actually almost the same build. They've gone for a very similar strategy. AV Ultima going with Squirrel and Toad, that's the difference. But also those defensive structures are a bit different. I think they're going for the same plan in the late game. They're going for that ball of units with that wolf to buff it up. So it's going to be interesting to see how this clash actually goes down.
Alright, 7 farms up. We'll see what both commanders decide to do. I'm going to throw on that dual commander visibility here for you. Both players going for 7 farm Warren. Zeno Coup going for lizards, whereas AV Ultima has gone for squirrels. Zeno Coup's gone for mines.
Yep.
I missed that. Yeah.
This is going to be interesting, to say the least. It looks like he's in a position to place a mine here. Or maybe he's just... Okay, he was looking. He was looking to see what that Warren produced. He saw that it was squirrels. He's digging back. What is his response here? Probably just more lizards. I mean, why not? The lizards are great. They work against squirrels. Those toads, though, that's something he didn't see. He hasn't seen yet. Those toads. He doesn't know those toads.
AV Ultima getting out those toads. That'll help a lot against those lizards, although 2 toads are going to be needed to take down 1 lizard. Of course, toads are area of effect, so the more lizards they can explode on, the more damage they will do, the more valuable they would be. Twitch chat is slightly in favor of Zeno Coup here. Lots of Zeno fans. Perhaps they think that AV Ultima isn't strong enough or clever enough to take on the defending champion, or maybe Zeno Coup is just too efficient. His mind is a calculator. He knows where you're supposed to be. Lots of mines.
I have a lot of faith in AV Ultima. He's proven that he's a very strong player. I don't think we could rule any player out here. Oh god, those mines went off. Okay.
Ooh, but both toads going off. There was a lot of toads out there. A couple of toads going down to those mines. A couple more units going down to those mines there. But AV Ultima...
so a lot of units get taken down by his mines there, but those toads did a massive amount of work to Zeno's army there.
They did, and there was a lot of food invested into those mines as well. 2 of them still on the field. Zeno Coup's only got 7 farms. He's lost that 1. He's building another at his expansion. We'll see if AV Ultima can capitalize on this slight economic advantage. Now, buying a very aggressive forward base. Take down that barbed wire before it gets built. He does successfully get it down.
And those toads completely wreck that tier 1 army. And those squirrels are just prepared to take down those falcons. And AV is free to go on these farms now. Ooh, okay.
2 farms getting taken down, of course. That squirrel sniping off that lizard. One last shot. AV Ultima's army is going to reinforce. Zeno Coop's going to struggle to get back into this game in terms of economy. Does have a Hawk out again.
He does have those 2 farms being built on his expansion, so he's not too far behind. I think he can still win this with some careful fights. He needs to be really careful with his falcons, though. Another mine goes off and takes down Abe's army, or takes down a little bit of Abe's army, but there are no more mines left. And that was really what was catching AB out.
Oh, look at this
and
placement.
Look at that split.
Yeah. The toads in a perfect position. Running the toads forwards. Try and take out... Oh, one pig goes down.
He's in a difficult position now, where a lot of his squirrels have been taken out. He needs those squirrels to take out those... Okay. Wow.
So AV Ultima taking game 1 of this best of 7 grand finals in a surprise, I think.
I think so. What we really saw, that was interesting. AV going back to his strong methods of going for that aggressive push, and we saw him go for that aggressive windmill. But he managed to hold it with all those tier 1s, whereas Zeno went for the early Falcon. I don't think that paid off at all for him. The early Falcon just was a detriment more than anything. Those squirrels just managed to destroy those Falcons really easily.
Yeah, definitely. I think those toads were a giant turning point, taking out that giant body of lizards there, as was said. Here we go into game 2 of Zeno Coop versus AV Ultima, the grand final.
Yep, we have AV Ultima to the east of the map in green, Zeno Coop to the west of the map in red. So Zeno going for pretty much the same build. He's very confident with this build, it seems. He likes that wolf in the late game. He likes the Falcon ferret push as well. He doesn't seem awfully fond of those skunks though. Have we seen him go for skunks almost at all? I know he had them in a couple of games, but they weren't awfully decisive.
Yeah.
He seems to like just building more tier 1s in the early game than anything.
Looking at this map here, AV Ultima has not a great map for expansions. He's got that one natural expansion just to the north of his base, north and west, and that base in the south. But Zeno Coop has 2 or 3 very good expansions all around his base. So in the long run, Zeno Coop's going to have an economic advantage unless AV Ultima can control the map. I'm going to turn on that dual commander visibility here. Of course, as always, go ahead and vote in the chat for who you think is going to win Game 2 of this Grand Finals set, Best of 7. First to 4 games will take the championship.
Yeah, be the crowning champion of July Joust.
Here we go, 7 farm Warren for both players again. Going for lizards and squirrels at the same time. AV Ultima just going for those squirrels.
AV has moles this time instead of toads. That's an interesting change. Maybe Zeno made his change in a move to counter AV's build. That would be interesting. So then he would be kind of caught out now.
Yeah, Zeno Coop has bought a very early expansion. A 1 minute and 30 second expansion down there just to the south of his base, perhaps hoping to eco up as fast as he can. AV Ultima building 2 moles up in the north. But Zeno Coop knows. Zeno Coop spots AV Ultima running down from the north and knows that there are moles there.
That's interesting, because I think AV, obviously he was trying to hide those moles. Maybe trying to catch Zeno out. So how is Zeno going to respond to this? He's placing more tier 1 Warrens, and here we go, here's the fight.
Alright, 1 farm is down already. The lizards are streaming in one by one, getting taken out. That mole doing its job by tanking a lot of hits. And now the farms are exposed as well. Can he get another farm down? 1 farm is down.
2 farms, wow. He needs to pull back now, there's no more fighting here. He's not in a good position, he can't get a good angle off.
Ooh, he's
Unless
gonna
he
be
can
greedy
get
though.
units to reinforce.
1 more farm and now he's going to back off.
1 farm. Okay, that was a good pick off. He is going to lose the rest of his squirrels though, there's no doubt about it.
Ooh, yeah, here comes Zeno
Oh,
Coop.
he actually saves 1. Oh, the other one gets taken off, okay.
Barely, Zeno Coop trying to punish him, but those reinforcements come in just in time for AV Ultima. And now army values are... Oh, AV Ultima has twice the army value of Zeno Coop right now. I didn't realize that.
As soon as he builds those moles, he can just go in for another attack and completely decimate Zeno. Zeno's trying to rebuild his economy. He's built 1 farm, but AV Ultima is already on double his economy. He's building 2 farms himself. And here we go, here's another fight in the midfield.
Those moles again tanking a lot of shots. Those squirrels staying alive. And Zeno Coop surrenders again!
I can't believe it! AV takes another game! That's 2 games to Zeno now.
Ahead
and
in that...
what we've seen is that AV comes really far ahead in these early game engagements. Where even though it looked like Zeno had a massive army, like if you look at just on the ground, you know, he has more units, but those moles were great tanks, being much more effective than those lizards from what we saw. Incredibly powerful stuff.
But here we go. Go ahead and vote in Twitch chat who you think is going to win this Game 3 of the Grand Finals of July Joust. Players again taking Wolf. We haven't seen the Wolf come out. The games haven't gone long enough for that.
There we go. Yep, Game 3. Zeno Coop to the west side of the map in red. AV Ultima to the east in green. So yeah, we haven't seen those Wolves come out yet, and that's because AV's been so dominant in the early game. And I think if it did go to the late game, Zeno, as a calculating player, as someone who knows how to catch his opponent out, I think Zeno would have the advantage there. Although I wouldn't rule out AV, he's also very strong in like almost all of the phases of the game. He has that advantage in the early game where he's had a lot of practice, he knows what he's doing.
Just showing you what each commander is seeing. That Fog of War active. Looking at this map here, AV Ultima has a large advantage in terms of bases to expand to. It's bases on high ground and defended from multiple sides, and nice natural expansions in the back, where Zeno Coop's just kind of sitting there on his one base, and base in the south as well. But let's go ahead and turn that dual commander visibility back on. Both players going pretty standard. What we've seen before. It'd be interesting to see how the game swings. Can AV Ultima keep this momentum going, keep the train going? Or will Zeno Coop start to put the brakes on? Grab some more matches in this best of 7. Of course, best of 7 means first player to 4 games will become the next champion of Tooth and Tail Clash of Comrades.
It's interesting how Zeno, he's staying calm, he's just going the same build, and he's going the same strategy as well. So he trusts in the strategy a lot. And maybe he's thinking that he just needs to execute it right. As long as he can hold the early game, he thinks, okay, I can get an advantage in the later game. And we saw him go for a greedy expansion, and it seemed like that was playing into that sort of strategy. And we've seen him go for a Falcon again. He's going for an early Falcon, and last time we saw that in the first match, really didn't pay off for him. AV just managed to completely pressure with those Squirrels and those Toads. And AV's going for the same build again. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out. Zeno now has an MG on his base as well.
And that's a smart play. We can show you what AV Ultima is seeing. He knows that he's got that base on the high ground. Smartly going to back away. Not a good idea to assault into that turret this early in the game. We'll see if he can use his Toads as effectively as he did in Game 1.
It's actually going to be a big problem for AV, I think. Zeno stalling like this gives Zeno more of a chance to get into his preferred timing. And AV really just wants to put pressure on, and he can't do that right now. With that high ground and that turret, that completely forced AV out. And he's going to scout again. He sees that there's no turret there anymore. But Zeno can easily replace it if he needs to. Oh, okay, here's another fight.
Alright, here we go. Those Toads not exploding at all. Oh, one Toad exploding, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Those Lizards wrapping around to the side, and Zeno Coop dominantly ending that fight. AV Ultima forced to retreat, and this expansion is going to get taken down now.
That was amazing play by Zeno there. It seems simple enough, but he went for that split. And we see that it's like a StarCraft 2 play. He splits to avoid the Bane lanes. He split his Lizards away, avoided all those Toads. Only one Toad exploded, and it wasn't on Lizards.
So now we are seeing why Zeno Coop is the defending champion. One Warren going down. Large fight here right outside AV Ultima's base. He's got to defend this, otherwise his economy is going to be in a lot of trouble. That Ferret out trying to hammer away, but just not quite doing enough damage against this army from Zeno Coop. We're seeing Zeno Coop with twice the army value as AV Ultima. Starting to pull ahead in farms as well.
There we go, he's going for another fight, but those Warrens are tanking a lot of it, so Zeno loses his entire army here. I don't think that's a big deal for Zeno though. He has enough farms in the background. He can build more if he needs to. He's deciding not to. He's just going to spend his money on reinforcements. And this actually does put him at a disadvantage because he lost all those falcons. Those took ages to reinforce. So maybe this gives AV a chance to actually come back into this.
Ooh, and AV dying. He doesn't have any vision onto that high ground. His army's going to wander away without his control. We'll see if he respawns
He does still win the fight though, interestingly.
Ooh, I don't know how this fight is going to go. It looks like AV Ultima's army's getting taken down. Very few forced to retreat. Reinforcements coming in for Zeno Coop right now, so tense moments in the middle of the map here.
He needs to keep that ferret alive. He hasn't got a warrant for that ferret anymore. He needs to keep it alive. That's a really important unit, and even if it wasn't a warrant, he still needs to keep it alive. Those tier 2s take ages to reinforce, and here we go, there's another fight.
It's like a lot of squirrels getting taken out for Zeno Coop. AV Ultima needs to drag his reinforcements in. He does have more farms than Zeno Coop does right now, and we've hit that 5-minute mark, so the first 4 farms that each player's main have farmed out. Zeno Coop on 5 farms, AV Ultima on 7. Of course,
That's interesting. That was actually a really even fight there. It seemed like Zeno had the advantage, but both players just disengaged before they lost their entire armies.
AV Ultima running back, building another farm. I think this is going to be the key, because Zeno Coop's base is very, very exposed here. If Zeno loses this fight, it means that AV is going to be able to push in and start taking out farms.
That ferret survives!
Ferret survives with 1 health. Oh, being able to take out that last squirrel, and now AV Ultima's army is going to start attacking this base. Squirrel's getting a little bit lost in that that water there.
He doesn't have enough though. He doesn't have enough to actually finish anything off. And that falcon coming in, that really wards AV off, unless he can use these squirrels to take out that falcon.
Oh, he's so close. A couple more hits from that ferret, and that base is down, and he'll be very far ahead in terms of economy.
He's got some really lucky ferret shots. Those ferrets just shooting randomly and just managing to pick off lizards as they pass by, and there we go, he takes down that expansion. That's a really big deal.
Large.
He's on 2 farms.
Large victory for AV Ultima. He's just got to play it safe now. He's got to keep it going. Zeno Coop is on 1 farm now, that farm farming out. He's got to be very careful with his units. He's only on 9 squirrels right now. He's trying to scout to see what he's doing. Maybe he's just now scouting that base there. How is he going to come back from this? You know, 12 squirrels and a ferret, but that the ferret doesn't have a warren, by the way. It's still alive. Hero ferret. Zeno Coop throwing...
He needs to end it now before Zeno manages to get back into this game. If he gets those farms up, that's going to be a big deal. Oh no, he sold the squirrels.
Ooh,
I think that was a massive mistake.
He sells it to try and counter the fact that AV Ultima will play it safe and keep building things, but he's not going to be able to do it.
Oh, wow.
AV Ultima taking game 3. Amazing. From the behind, maybe the train really doesn't have any brakes.
Wow, I can't believe this. AV's taken 3 games in a row versus Zeno. This is insane. AV, the challenger, is showing that he has insanely strong early game tactics. None of these games have gone into wolf play, and I think that's exactly where AV likes it.
Alright, well here we go into game 4. Remember, Zeno Coop has to win 4 games in a row right now. So the Ultima's got to be feeling pretty good, but he's got to keep his cool. Zeno Coop is the defending champion. We know that Zeno is a smart player. We know that, oh there he goes, Zeno Coop has taken the build that he's used time and time again. He hasn't taken lizards, he's taken squirrels instead of lizards, maybe trying to, but AV has skunks. But Zeno does have those 3 tier 2s to try and adapt to what happens in the mid game.
Zeno's gone for skunks as well. Maybe deciding that, okay, not going for skunks and trying to deal with AV Ultima's early game without them. Maybe he thinks that he's going about it the wrong way, so instead he goes back to this build. The squirrel, 3 tier 2s, and the badger. So here we go, game 4, AV Ultima versus Zeno Coop. AV on 3 wins. If he takes this, he takes the entire tournament. And we have Zeno to the northwest in red, AV Ultima to the south in green. And I bet AV is feeling very confident right now. Very confident, but also very nervous, heart pounding, hands are sweating. We won't know who will win until the end, of course. Looking at this map here, AV Ultima again with lots of good natural expansions. Zeno Coop with only 1 to the west as the closest base. He could take that base that's very close to AV Ultima's right here. That
would be a nice base to take. It's surrounded by water and surrounded by cliffs. So he decides to do it. Dual commander visibility. You can see the scouting patterns of each commander. See both players trying to cover as much of the map as possible before burrowing back their next, whether it be a farm or a warren.
Okay, both players going for that 7-farm warren yet again. We're seeing this every single game. No player has gone for any cheese. Obviously, we've seen moles since last tournament. The mole rush isn't anywhere near as effective as it used to be. With those pigs being on more health, that mole rush is really hard to pull off. And against experienced players, it's just not going to work out anymore. Like we saw last tournament, we saw some mole rushes happening, which are pretty silly. They were pretty funny to watch, but we haven't seen anything like that in this tournament.
I think the game just isn't right for mole rushes. Twitch chat believes in AV Ultima, with about 2/3 vote going for AV Ultima over Zeno a coup. It will be history if AV Ultima, who didn't even make it to the top 4 last tournament, manages to take out Zeno a coup in a straight sweep of 4-0 in this best-of-7 grand finals for Clash of Comrades July Joust.
I think we've seen a different AV Ultima than we saw last tournament though. This AV Ultima is comfortable in any situation. And look now, he's going for Squirrel Mole. He's going for the Squirrel Mole push. Those pressure plays, but this is actually bad. Zeno's gone for those squirrels. Unless he can win a fight right now, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Those MG nests are out now, and that's going to really hinder AV's progress. And here we go, here's fight.
Squirrel's getting taken down, but those Warrens are taking a lot of hits. One Warren does go down. There's a lot of squirrels still left alive, and AV is smartly tanking all of those machine gun hits with his commander. So 2 Warrens going down for Zeno a coup. AV Ultima's, I think, won that fight.
Yeah, definitely. Losing that infrastructure is a much bigger deal. Obviously, he can rebuild those fairly easily, which he is doing right now, and they build really quickly. But all AV lost was just some reinforcements, and now what he's building on the back of it, he's building an expansion. He's building Falcons, which is going to be great against those skunks. And he's going for another fight again. I think this is a mistake.
Bringing those waves in, those skunks are out. They're going to start putting down fire. The machine gun does go down. It's a minor victory, but he's sacrificed a lot of units. Looking at that army graph, the unit values have switched. Zeno Coup very far ahead in army now to AV Ultima's army value. And those skunks, I think, are going to make all the difference. AV Ultima has put out those Falcons. He's a grid counter.
Okay, he's got the Falcons out now, and that's going to be a big deal. He needs to keep that Falcon alive. It is going to be essential to winning. But look how many squirrels Zeno has now.
Ooh, that skunk almost going down. The other skunk almost dead as well. Trying to lay down some fire, then those squirrels die.
The Falcon dies, and that is a massive deal, and AV is going to lose this expansion.
It's a lot of food that he invested into that expansion, and now desperately AV Ultima doesn't have any machine guns, anything to fall back on. So Zeno Coup, is he going to take this victory and start to come back, or is he going to try and push further? It looks like he might try to push further. The skunk does go down, though, without firing another shot. So the hawk is still alive at 5 health. The rest of Zeno Coup's army gets taken out. He's got to be careful of that skunk fog, which is still hanging around the field there.
Okay, that was a good win for AV Ultima here. I think this means that AV Ultima can get back in this. He can rebuild his position on the map. It looks like he's maybe going to go for that base. I think this might be pushing it a little bit. Here we go, here's another fight.
Ooh, that skunk goes down. Falcon's still alive.
First time that skunk.
And skunk is coming in, but the skunk goes down as well. Every unit in this army going down except for 2 squirrels from Zeno Coup. So Zeno Coup coming slightly ahead here. Look at the army values. Again, slightly ahead. Both commanders losing a lot of their armies.
I think AV just needs to build more squirrels right now. Zeno's winning these fights because he has a massive advantage in squirrels. He's only got 3 more, but that's a big deal when you're up against Falcons. AV needs way more squirrels, but he needs to be careful with those skunks as well. He needs to make sure that he can burst down those skunks.
Right.
So maybe he needs Falcons. I don't know.
AV taking that nice, safe expansion, and it's instead of the one that was a little bit further ahead. Zeno Coup's already slightly ahead in economy. He got his expansion out a little bit faster. We passed that 5-minute mark, so the original 4 bases of each player's main have farmed out. They're not producing anymore and cannot be rebuilt. Look at the army value. Zeno Coup slightly ahead. We'll see if he manages to burst down enough with these Falcons. Whether it won't be enough. 12 squirrels to 9. So Zeno Coop slightly ahead with 3 more squirrels.
AV Ultima's just taking the time to try and get ahead in Econ right now. He's trying to get ahead in Econ. He's building 4 farms on his base. But if there's a fight, I think Zeno's going to definitely come ahead. He's got more army value, but not just that. He's got the counter army.
Right.
In my opinion. He's got the better counter army. He's got the skunk with him. And that's going to be better than those Falcons, I think. Because those skunks just need to lay down their gas. It doesn't matter who they shoot the gas at. As long as this gas goes down, then it's going to be a big deal. But AV needs to be careful because he needs to actually take down the skunks with the Falcons. So I think it's going to be a lot more in favor of Zeno.
Right, and Zeno still pulling ahead in terms of economy. We can see him trying to sneak around the back and try and scout some bases there. And AV's just doesn't have those 3 squirrels, and he's behind in economy. He's catching up a little bit now. He's finally filled out that base, but Zeno Coop's base is already almost fully functioning. So AV Ultima needs to build some other unit before he attacks here, or prepare to get hit by Zeno Coop.
And Zeno's building Falcons now. Once those Falcons come out, it's surely decisive victory in any fights for Zeno. He's going to have the exact same army as AV, but even more. And now he's building even more squirrels, and AV doesn't have any skunks out. And he's building skunks now, okay? That's definitely what he needs. But he's not going to have enough army value to actually win any fights. He's so behind in terms of army value right now.
I think he needs to build a wolf. We've seen wolf swing matches before, and he's behind in army value so much that he needs something to swing that balance, even with fewer units. So building a wolf would be perfect in this scenario to try and swing this match back into AV Ultima's favor. Because Zeno Coop's just continued to expand here, ahead in army value, way ahead in army value, and ahead in economy.
I don't know if he's going to have enough time, though. Zeno's getting ready to actually go ahead and have a fight. He's been ahead in army value a lot of this amount of time, and look how much he's just gained. He's just had a massive boost in army value, putting down more infrastructure, more warrens now. He can have a fight right now and win it decisively. AV only has 8 farms running, whereas Zeno has 10. He's building that new expansion. He's got AV locked into this position, back near his base.
Army of Zeno Coop slowly trying to find where that weak point is. Unfortunately, I think the weak point is the front of the army. Trying to build some machine gun turrets here to contain AV Ultima even more.
Oh, he's moving in now.
Fight is down here. Those skunks are in the front line. Both sides getting out a lot of gas. A lot of units from each side going down, but looks like Zeno Coop slowly pulling ahead. One warren goes down. Zeno Coop backing off, but I think he definitely won that fight. Looking at the army value, he is still ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Being on the aggressive side of a fight like that when you're skunk versus skunk, you definitely want to be there, because those skunks lay down that fire. And look, it took out a pig with one of those skunk gases, and here we go, here's another fight. But AV Ultima has nowhere near enough army value to win this.
AV Ultima maybe trying to engage in this, but then thinking better of it. His running units start to get taken out, and the rest of his army is going to go down. 4 units streaming in for Zeno Coop. This does not look good for AV Ultima.
Yeah, AV Ultima has no warrens for tier 1s left anymore. He only has 1 warren of it, and he's rebuilding them, but it's not going to be in time. This game is heavily in favor of Zeno right now. I'd be very surprised if the AV can pull this back. Zeno just has such a big army, and he's building more econ on the back of this.
AV Ultima, I think, is going to see this and surrender. So Zeno Coop taking the first game of this 7-game set of the grand finals. So tense times.
Oh,
remember,
I don't know how the players are feeling, but I'm definitely feeling very tense. My heart is beating. This is insane amount of games. We've seen AV go 3-0, and now Zeno's going to start to pull it back. Can he win? He needs a reverse streak. He needs 3 more wins in a row. 3 more, and that's tough for any player, even the defending champion. That poll has been reset. Let us know who you think is going to take this game 5 of this best of 7 set. Remember, if AV wins, he will become the champion of July Joust.
stealing the title from Zeno and Coop.
This is tense. Here we go. Going to game 5. Zeno to the west in red. AV Ultima to the east in green. Let's just get right into this.
Alright,
So
Zeno...
AV not taking moles anymore. He's not taking them at all.
And that's a shame because I think that was helping him a lot in his fights against Zeno and Coop, tanking all of those squirrel hits. Instead, going to go for a very similar build to Zeno and Coop, the same tier 2 units, except their tier 3s are different. Zeno and Coop going for Badger, AV Ultima going for that Wolf. But otherwise, both players' builds exactly the same, mirrored. Taking a look at this map.
Look at this map, though. This is disgusting.
Terrible.
Zeno has every expansion that he needs.
Terrible for
Wow.
AV Ultima, except for the fact that maybe AV Ultima could fend off some early rushes with all that high ground. But Zeno and Coop heavily in favor in terms of long-term play, with all 5 expansions on his side of the map.
What can AV do here? This is really worrying for AV. And it seems that Zeno's kind of sussed out what AV was trying to go for in those last games. So in the first 3 games, we saw him go for those aggressive pushes with tier 1s. And Zeno, on the 4th game, focused a lot more on those MGs, and that was very strong. Even though those moles managed to tank a lot of the shots, there was still Zeno's army behind it. So it did a lot of damage to AV's army. Taking down those moles quickly enough allowed him to take down those weak scrolls at the back and just completely dismantle AV's pressure. So maybe that's what he's going to focus on a little bit more. But AV doesn't have moles anymore. He's gone for a completely different build.
Zeno and Coop going for that 7-farm Warren into a tier 2 skunk, which we've seen work so well before. We've seen it earlier in this tournament, and we've seen it earlier in this set even. AV Ultima with going for Hawks pretty early. We'll see if those early Hawks are enough to counter those early skunks. Pretty soon we can't call it early anymore. Everybody starts to do it.
Yeah. We've seen AV is going for 9 squirrels. Zeno doing the same. It looks like, I don't know what Zeno's saving up for. He's got a lot of food. Maybe he's going to go for an expansion? He has plenty to choose from. So that's completely possible. AV's just focusing on a lot of army right now. 12 squirrels going to be coming out, and Falcons also, but Zeno hasn't spotted the Falcons at all.
I think in a regular match, AV Ultima's best strategy would have been to rush, maybe try and turret contain, as there's only one way into Zeno Coop's base. But as it is, it's too late for that now.
AV's going even more Falcons. He's gone for 4 Falcons. It's a really interesting decision. And I think against that army, maybe that's going to work. And Zeno hasn't spotted any of the Falcons, has he? I didn't see him spot any of them.
No, I don't think so, not yet. AV Ultima taking
now
that
AV's
very
taking
aggressive.
that forward base.
We'll see whether he's able to hold it. He does have machine guns, and they're going to be crucial to defending this base. It is on high ground, but Zeno Coop's base is on the high ground as well. Both players have Hawks, so both players can see up high ground right now.
AV Ultima has a lot of food, and now he's going to focus on Econ on that base, and that's really risky. If Zeno can win a fight, then AV is going to be completely knocked out of the game, I think.
AV is ahead in army value, but his army isn't quite with everything yet. Smartly building his farms away from the edge so that Zeno Coop can't pick them off with those Falcons and the rest of his units. A machine gun turret going up on that high ground. Again, both players have Falcons, so it's not as important as it could be.
Zeno just brought out Ferret. That's a massive deal. AV's going to be screwed here unless he can't engage because Zeno's got a turret there. But he can't just let his expansion go down. What is the AV going to do here? He's stuck in an awful dilemma. And this is why we see so many players pick Ferret. It's just so strong, and he's forced to fight.
He's forced to fight into this match. He's trying to pull back a little bit so he doesn't get hit up by that skunk gas. But again, that Ferret's going to keep pounding away at his defenses. One more Hawk going down, another Hawk very, very low. And AV's sunk so many resources into the space, he can't afford to give it up.
He is going to give up, though. He's got no choice. It goes down to the Ferret fire. And AV only lost squirrels in that first engagement. He couldn't afford to lose those Falcons later. But he does lose Falcons in the second engagement, and those are going to be his key to winning here. Against the Ferret and the Snake, Skunk, those Falcons are great.
Look at that army value there. AV Ultima so far ahead. More Ferrets coming out, trying to pick away at AV Ultima's army wherever it can. And Zeno Coop's going to start building on this base here, putting himself way ahead in terms of food.
Yeah, Zeno has the pressure to be able to do that. He can pressure AV into this awful position because he has the bigger army value now. And Zeno's AV is going to have to pull out something really special if he wants to win this game.
It's going to have to win this engagement right here and then expand, unless he can sneak away and expand. But Zeno Coop knows that the commander isn't going to be around. Here he goes, into this fight here. He has to win this fight if he's going to win this game, but down goes his army. Only the 2 ferrets left, and they're going to go down as well. Lots of units left for Zeno Coop. Warren's going down, and AV Ultima ceding the match to Zeno Coop.
What could AV have done there? That was an awful map spawn. He tries his best to get the forward pressure, but Zeno knows what he needs to do. He just puts down the MG nest, has the ferret at the back, ferret pokes, AV comes in, and dies, basically. It was awful for AV there, and I don't know what AV could have done. I think building those farms was definitely a mistake. He needed, once he got that forward position, to actually win a fight to allow him to build the farms. Otherwise, Zeno would have just done exactly what he did.
All right, we've reset that poll. Go ahead and vote on who you think is going to win Game 6 of this July Joust Grand Finals. We'll see 3-2. Remember, AV Ultima, if he wins this next match, he is the champion. But Zeno Coop has just won 2 in a row right now. See if he can keep up that momentum. What are both players going to choose here in order to counter each other's builds? Zeno Coop getting the same build again. Exact same build. This is the build
that he dominates with. And we saw him go for Wolf previously. He decides to go with Badger for this build. I think either Tier 3 is a good decision. I think with just the Squirrels, maybe the Wolf is better. No, just the Squirrels, maybe the Badger is better. But before, when he was going Wolf, he had the Squirrels and the Lizards. I think that was a lot stronger then. So I think going for Badger is a good decision here. I don't know what AV can do here. He needs to win these games early. But when Zeno goes for these MG tactics or building ferrets to counter the expansions that AV tries to get up, AV's forced into an awful position that he doesn't like to play in.
AV gone for Lizard, Toad, Falcon so far. See, again, not taking those moles, which works so well for him. We'll see if he takes Skunks. Thinking very hard about what he can use. Uncle Butter's going in there. Take out a massive Tier 1. I think that's a mistake, honestly. I think the Wolf, getting that Wolf out, because he's been behind in both of these games in terms of the units, the Wolf is the way to swing around the match, but...
You know, I think would be great. I think Owl. I think Owl would complete this build. Moving it to the front, suiciding it, giving him a massive burst of damage potential. I think that's exactly what he needs, honestly. But he decides to go with Badger in the end.
Changing his mind at the last minute. We'll see how it goes for him. Yep.
Game 6. Zeno Coop versus AV Ultima. We have AV Ultima to the east of the map in green. Zeno Coop to the west in red. And it's the 6th match. Again, if AV wins, he's the champion. So far he's on a 2-loss streak after his original 3-win streak.
He's got to have shaken his confidence, losing those 2 games in a row after being so close. Again, he can afford to lose the next game, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to get into that do-or-die scenario. Both players, no cheese going out yet. We haven't seen any players in these top 4 cheese. Twitch chat.
We did see Dead Players go for the chameleon cheese. That was quite ridiculous.
Odds match, yes. Twitch chat heavily in favor of AV Ultima. They believe that the underdog can take out the defending champion. About 2/3 of the vote going to AV Ultima. Here we go. Let's go ahead and...
It's going to be tricky for AV. Now that Zeno... It seems that Zeno's completely sussed out AV's strategy. And I think I'd be very scared in the position where Zeno figures out how to actually beat you.
Right.
AV has to actively deceive and outplay Zeno at this point. And that's going to be tricky. Zeno is very good with his scouting. He always looks out to see exactly what Tier 1 is actually out. He always knows what his opponent's doing. I don't know what AV is going to pull out here. So far he's just pulling out Squirrels and Lizards. Lizards and Toads, I apologize.
Those toads are going to do well against early skunks. But again, Zeno Coop's going for that early skunk. And that's going to be a big problem for AV Ultima. We saw those Falcons didn't quite win it for him in the last match.
Zeno's on a lot of food, or at least he just was. Now he spent a lot of it. He's going for Falcons. And this is the same sort of situation we saw him in the first game, but this time he's building that MG. And that's what won him that fourth game, I believe. He built that MG, and that stops AV's pressure from actually working at all. And
Right.
Zeno's going to scout and sees exactly what AV's doing. Except he doesn't see that the ferret's in the background, which is exactly the counter that AV needs. This is actually really wise move from AV, I think.
So waiting for his commander to regenerate health before he tries to sneak into that base and see what's there. Doesn't matter if he's died, he's gotten that information. It's not quite in time to see that Falcon, I don't think, unless that invisibility stays around.
Ooh, Zeno sells his MG, moves up, and is buying an expansion. That's interesting. That makes that ferret a little less viable.
Ooh, but look at this. AV Ultima has put down a lot of army value all at once, and unless Zeno Coop spots this, he's going to be caught with his pants down trying to expand and putting a lot of food into the expansion.
If AV gets these Falcons up quickly, Zeno's going to be a fairly tricky position, but Zeno has a lot of Falcons himself, and those lizards aren't going to be very powerful against it, and those ferrets definitely aren't going to be powerful against it. Maybe you can force Zeno into a bad position where he's poking at his army. Well, but Zeno sees this. Zeno sees exactly what AV's doing.
Right. Remember, in a completely equal game, Zeno Coop would be down 120 food in army value because he's built that base.
Ooh, look what AV's doing.
Oh, an excellent fight with these ferrets in, forcing a fight here. The lizard's running around to try and help a little bit, tanking for those ferrets. He's managed to take down one tier 2 Warren. That's pretty good, but again, there's 4 Falcons here going to take down this expansion if he doesn't do anything.
Oh, but he brings his army in. This is a really tricky situation for Zeno now. He needs to force pressure onto AV to stop him from harassing his base. But AV has a quite strong army in counter, and here we go, there's another fight.
They're going to fire away at those Hawks as much as possible. The Hawks from AV Ultima also firing away. Reinforcements coming in lightning fast through that road, and AV Ultima slightly pulling ahead. Hawks still alive.
AV won this fight. He needs to be careful though. He can't push in too far because he's gonna risk his Falcons there. As long as he gets in those lizards in time, he can really do a lot of damage. And now, okay, he's poking at those pigs, or at least he's trying. Oh, he takes down one Falcon that was reinforcing. That's a big deal, actually.
Those ferret hits not quite getting off. The pigs moving out of the way just in time. A little bit of a glitch there, maybe. So he manages to take out another Warren. That's pretty good. And if he continues to hold this base here, he's going to take out that pig eventually. That pig's taken one hit there. But Zeno Coop desperately...
Here we go.
Yep.
It's not right. But AV is far and away the victor in these fights because he has those Falcons, and those Falcons are being used much more effectively. Those lizards are doing great at tanking the enemy Falcons. And he has more Falcons than Zeno now. Zeno had his... That actually mattered so much. Taking down that Warren early on allowed him to, after he won the fight, Zeno's in a terrible position where he doesn't have as many Falcons anymore. And look at this. He's winning every fight and Zeno's on the back foot.
7 farms for each player, but AV Ultima, again, winning engagement after engagement. If he manages to keep winning these engagements, he's going to become the champion. Taking down Zeno Coop's expansion here. Is he going to win this best of 7? And down he goes! Zeno Coop has surrendered the match, and AV Ultima takes Game 6 of this best of 7 set to become your new champion of July Joust. GG. Excellent play from both players. What an amazing set.
Wow.
4
that
games.
was amazing to see.
4 games to 2. And we're going to have AV Ultima in with us in a minute for an interview. Let's go ahead and jump back to the finals bracket just to show you. I'm going to get that updated just as soon as we can. But wow, what a set to finish. Finish that off. Coming from behind, AV Ultima not even getting to the top 4 last time. Managing to pull out the win 4 games to 2 against the champion from Mayhem. AV Ultima is now your July Joust champion.
Can't believe it. AV, he takes the game, and he's the champion. That was great play in that last game, you know. taking that ferret. Okay, I can't even get my words out because I'm so excited. That ferret was great. He places that ferret as his first tier 2. We don't see that very often, but
Right.
it was calculated. He places it because he knows that Zeno's going to go for that MG. But it doesn't matter that he goes for the MG because he has the ferret, and then the MG gets sold, but Zeno's in an awful position. AV just uses the ferret fire and takes down that Warren.
All right, well, your new champion, AV Ultima, is joining us here in voice chat right now. Congratulations, AV Ultima, on winning your set against Zeno Coop to become the July Joust champion.
Wow, thanks so much. That was exciting. I thought we had one more match. I was like sitting here waiting, like, what's going on? Where? It's ready yet? Wow.
No, you are the champion. How does it feel to have defeated the previous champion of Mayhem to become the new Clash of Comrades champion? How are you feeling right now?
Well, it feels awesome. I mean, in group stages I beat him, but I thought he was just going easy. But wow, those were some intense games back and forth.
Yeah.
Especially those last two.
What happened?
Definitely.
You had those 3 early games right in a row. That must have given you a huge confidence boost, but then you lost 2 right in a row. What was going through your mind going into that last game?
Well, he decided to drop the lizards, I noticed, and he just went with squirrels. So I think that definitely turned the tides a little bit, and then I had to change up my play a little bit to react to his squirrels.
Right.
And that's essentially the big thing that changed.
Right. Do you have any tips for the new players out there who are just joining us for the first time of how you climbed from the bottom to where you are right now at the very top of Tooth and Tail play right now?
It's cliche, but it's always just practice, playing people, getting better. Definitely watching games as well, learning what other players do, and especially taking advice from the better players too.
Definitely humble as always. AV Ultima, the new champion of Clash of Comrades, your July Joust tournament winner. Do you have any closing thoughts for all your adoring fans out there?
Go Group B.
Go Group B,
There you go.
indeed. Well, that was exciting. 1 month of play, over 250 games, has brought us all down to AV Ultima being the champion. We saw amazing games played from every player all around. Hunter, how can we summarize all this? What's your closing thoughts?
I think it's amazing to see how far the community has come, honestly. Players and experienced players alike fighting at the top levels of competitive play in Tooth and Tail. And I really think that's exactly what Tooth and Tail is about.
Mm-hmm.
It's about using strategy more than anything, not micro, not APM. It's using your strategy and figuring out what the opponent does to take the advantage. And that's why we see all these new players. Classic Metal coming 4th in the tournament. We've just seen amazing play, and I'd like to thank everyone for participating.
Definitely. Thank you to all the players who have been so diligent in playing all of your round-robin games during those 3 weeks of pool play. Thank you so much to the developers for working so closely with us to create this game, helping us get through with the tournament branch, and for creating the game in general. And of course, a very big thank you to Hunter for casting with me, my lovely co-caster, staying with me through
Thank you very much.
looking at all those replays.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of replays to look through. It's been great casting these games. Watching this just top-level play, I just love it. It's amazing. I'm happy everyone enjoys our efforts in casting, and I'd like to thank Captain Fog for setting up the entire tournament. Really, everything was down to him. And I think more than anything, we should be thanking him for setting it up great, dealing with it for the whole month. I think you've done a great job, Captain. I think everyone here would agree.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And you're-
Well done, man.
Thanks. You're very welcome. Well, we will be back in September with September Showdown, the next tournament. But for now, enjoy your Sunday. If you would like to play this game, you can come and test with us, become an alpha tester. You can join us in our Discord chat. You can one day be the Clash of Comrades champion if you practice as your tournament winner, AV Ultima says. For now, my name is Captain Fog, and I am joined by Hunter.
Thank you, as always. I'll be looking forward to the next tournament. It will be great. I know it.
All right. Enjoy your Sunday, and thank you so much, all you viewers, for watching.